Good evening. It is 6:30 on, what did I say? Thursday, December 18th. I'm calling to order this North Andover School Committee meeting. Please join me in, we're coming back from executive session. Join me in standing for the pledge. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Mrs. Sams will not be joining us tonight. She is sick, so we wish her that we hope that she gets better very quickly. Consent agenda. Mr. Brown, minutes, November 6th.
Yes, Chair, I've reviewed. Wow, it's loud in here. And I'm no stranger to a microphone. Mr. Chair, I would like to present the minutes of November 6th. I have reviewed them, edited them, and they should be good to go.
Was that a motion?
Oh, sorry. I move that we accept the minutes of November 6th that I have edited and reviewed.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you, Mr. Moskovich. Time to review and discuss.
Just one small correction.
Absolutely.
On, Mrs. Sam's name at the very top of attendees is spelled wrong. That's it.
My goodness.
The end of the alphabet, not the beginning of the alphabet.
You're right.
That's it.
I will fix that.
Thank you very much. Any other? We did a lot last time.
We did.
Or on November 6th.
That was a big meeting.
That was a long meeting. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for reviewing those, and Ms. McHugh for making us look so good. Mr. Moskovich.
November 6th? Is
November
that
6th, yeah.
November 6th.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Cormier.
Yes.
And I vote yes. They pass 4-0. Amazing students. How are you?
I'm lovely. How are you?
Good. So we have vacation. Before we get started, vacation coming up. I think it's always important that whenever we have a vacation from school, you take at least a small moment to do something purely for yourself. It doesn't have to be big and extravagant, but something that makes you very happy for at least like 15 minutes. So I'm going to work on sewing a little bit. There's a new pattern I want to try out, but that'll be my moment of joy for myself. What are you going to do for yourself over break to recharge and enjoy yourself a little bit?
Maybe I'll do some skiing with my sister.
That sounds wonderful.
What I was gonna say. Oh, well, maybe we can go skiing together.
Where do you go?
Kind of all over the place. I'm not really sure where we'll go this year because we kind of go with this other family, so we'll see where they
Well,
go.
it should be
Like
good.
up to New Hampshire or just around here?
Yeah, probably New Hampshire, sometimes Vermont. We'll see.
I only really après ski now. After the skiing in the lodge, drinking hot cocoa by the fire. That's like where I've gotten to in my life.
Conditions should be good up north.
Yes,
Should be really good.
awesome. Well, tell us what we need to know about students and schools and all that wonderful jazz.
So lots of clubs have been decorating their advisors' doors for the holidays, and it's a fun little competition that student council will be judging. I get to judge. I'm very excited. And we're just going to go around and tell people that their door looks great. Very exciting. The German club, they made St. Nicholas shoes and shared sweet treats with all the students. So we made these little paper shoes and we put candy in it. And it was really fun because I got candy.
Why shoes?
I don't know.
Is it a German thing?
It's a German tradition.
Oh, like in
St.
Italy
Nicholas.
too. That you leave your.
Yeah, St. Nicholas comes.
Yeah,
You leave your shoes out
At
as
the
kids.
bottom. Okay.
You leave your
Yeah.
shoes outside.
We do
outside
socks,
your door.
why shouldn't they do shoes?
I just
I
wanted to
did
make
not
sure
know
it wasn't a random thing. There's an
It's
actual
awesome. I
reason
did
for
as
it.
a kid.
It's fun. I got a lot of candy.
Awesome. Okay, I'm not interrupt anymore.
And there's a holiday party tomorrow, the 19th. There's going to be a crepe station, hot cocoa, cookies that I'm going to go buy after this, and more. MedTech had a speaker, and the speaker brought in medical devices for them to explore and learn about. Greece is going well. Buy your tickets from North Andover Drama Guild, please. The winter concert had a fantastic performance, and a lot of people said it was a great turnout. D&D is doing a joint holiday campaign, and Student Council has been hosting a hot chocolate fundraiser Wednesday through Thursday, and Black Student Union is having their hot chocolate fundraiser tomorrow. Check out the Focus Food Instagram to see what they have been cooking up. There have been some fantastic guest chefs today. Today we had Mr. Dugan, and we made a fun thing I've never heard of before, so that was great. Science team is participating in the Science Olympiad with 21 events. They're going to be competing in March. And the school is gauging the new cell phone policy, and they're like, this is written wrong, sorry. We did a survey about it, and we kind of were like, yeah, it works, yeah, it doesn't work, and we gave our own feedback about it. And obviously, winter break starts next week, and we're all very excited.
Yes. And even going back to that door decorating, I know Decca did theirs today, and it was Decca the Halls is what we wrote on it. It was really fun.
I appreciate that pun. Thank you very much.
And that brings us into our DECA Districts competition, where 230 students were able to attend, and 49 students qualified for states, which will be held in Boston this March. Additionally, the first mock trial will be in Newburyport, Essex District Court on Thursday, this January 16th. And today, 2 school committee members came to the main office to receive student inputs regarding budgeting. And Spanish Club is selling pulseras or bracelets made in Spanish-speaking countries and sending the money back, which is really cool. NHS has their chocolate bar fundraiser, which is going on right now, but sales will also continue until after break. And sports meets and games have begun, which have been super fun. And Environmental and Heal Club is running a coat drive. All donations will go to Lazarus House. Additionally, History Club is doing projects on America 250, and college acceptances are coming out, so check out NAS Future Plans, the Instagram, for some of those. Yearbook Club has been working hard on creating the yearbook, and clubs have been taking their club pictures lately, and you can submit this picture to Miss Tracy by January 5th, I believe. And College Bound Junior Night is at North Andover High School on Tuesday, January 6th at 6 p.m. in the NAS Auditorium. So that's all we have for today. Yeah.
It's the only place to see the future college plans. It's on Instagram. I'm not.
So I think that
Instagram-y.
Instagram is a little
Okay.
less official, because there's a bigger official thing that comes out that Mr. Young said at the end of the year. It's more official, so you can see that at the end of the year when everyone's comes out. But that's kind of just something students have been
That's the
looking
fun.
at.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
the,
it's
that's the immediate.
In the
people
past,
can
we've
post
gotten
their own
a
stuff.
big list of all the plans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get a list at the end of the year, but that was when people are finding out, so they're like, ooh, fun
Very
posting.
excited.
Yeah.
And what is that? What is it?
It's called NAS Future Plans 2026.
It's really cute.
Oh, we'll have to check that out.
Have to figure out
Can you guys
Wait, it's on-
let everybody
oh.
know the dates for Greece? You didn't mention the
It's
dates.
on Martin
Sorry.
Luther King Jr. weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, weekend. Okay,
Yeah, it's a
Wait,
long weekend.
I have it up here.
that's okay. That's good. Probably good enough.
Oh.
And you mentioned
16th.
D and it sounded like D&D. Is it the Dungeons and Dragons Club?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah, joint campaign.
And-
It's Christmassy.
And on the cell phone policy, you guys talked about it, but did you guys do a survey? And so were there findings?
Mr. Young sent out a survey, and I think they're still reviewing it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think the information's going to be sent back out to us, but it'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
So it was done by
Yeah.
Mr. Young. Oh, so we
It was
can-
sent out to our advisories. Period.
But
of
students
the day.
filled it out. It was-
Yes.
okay. Cool. I love Deck of the Halls. I do. I'm like you. I love that.
Fantastic. It's a good dad joke.
Love the
Not
good
in-
dad
not in a
joke.
kind
And
way.
our advisor, Mark, would also love to thank all of you, because these competitions are thanks to all of you allowing us to go on our trips. So thank you so much.
Oh.
Sure.
Any other queries for our lovely?
I have a quick, maybe ask. So I had Ms. Holman send out, I hope she sent it out today or she'll send it out tomorrow, an email to all the students that we reopened the strategic planning survey, hoping to get some more student participation at the high school particularly. So she should be receiving an email from Mrs. Holman with the survey link. So if you can ask your friends to please, it takes about 15 minutes to go through the survey. I did ask Ms. Holman if she would check with the teachers as well to see if there were classes that they might be able to provide a little time for some students to be able to complete that. But if you could spread the word, that'd be great.
Of course. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
so
nice
much.
holiday, you guys.
Later
You
up,
too.
later on, not until 8:30, so that could be past your bedtime, but we'll be talking about the competency determination. I don't know if you're gonna stay, fantastic, you can tell us your opinions then. If not, can you just give us do you have any thoughts about it? I don't know if you reviewed it or remember what we were talking about.
Do you want a motion to change the agenda?
I think we just, if they just want to share their ideas, I think that's perfectly, it can be part of the student report, it's great. If not, it's okay.
I think they're great. I have one thing with them, and it's kind of different teachers teach the same class.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I'm learning in one of my classes. It's the same class as someone else is taking. I haven't learned anything that they've learned
Okay.
with the final coming up. So that's kind of a stressor for a lot of people. Like, I'm terrified I'm going to fail the final.
Because the final is the same.
The final is the same for everyone. The
Which-
teachers.
Which
come to-
subject are we talking about?
She might not want to say anything.
Yeah.
and Get herself
I'm
in
sorry.
trouble.
I feel bad.
No, I
No,
think
no,
that's a
that's
good
fine.
answer.
But yeah, it's kind of stressful when I also have the other teacher and I ask her, I'm like, hey, so what should I have learned? And she tells me, and I'm like, wow, I would never have known that.
Yeah,
So that's just kind of a
Okay.
general concern.
that's
for,
a
Great
very real
feedback.
one. Thank
Good
you
to
so
know.
much for sharing.
We want your learning to be consistent.
Yeah. We really appreciate that. That's the stuff we need to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You are, of course, welcome to stay and say anything else you need to say later on, or if you need to leave and go get ready for whatever comes next in your life.
German
Go
holiday
buy some
party.
cocoa.
See, there you go. Go get the
Go.
cookies.
Switch to Deutsch?
Sehr gut, ja?
Thank you. Moving on to public comments. We don't have public comment, but we're going to get into the season where we are more likely to have public comment at our meetings, and I just want to take a moment to review our general public comment guidelines. They are officially called Policy BEDH-R. They're in our policy book. You can find them online and on the school committee subsection of the website. In general, public comment is meant for the citizens of the community to share their ideas with us. It's not supposed to be a dialogue, but you get to tell us things. We can take some actions that can include taking it under consideration, referring the item to administration. If it requires dialogue, we can place it on a future agenda. We ask that we try to limit it to between 15 and 20 minutes each time. On purpose, we have maintained that we do have public comment at both the beginning and end of the meeting. Of course, people are welcome to participate in either the beginning or the end. Sometimes we're going to discuss something during the meeting that we do not yet know about. So, like, we're going to learn some stuff about the budget tonight that we do not yet know what the things are going to be. So commenting at the end might be more appropriate once we've heard the things and we've had some of the information shared clearly and concisely by the administration. That's my suggestion, but of course, people are allowed to talk at any point in the beginning or the end. Comments always come through me, the chair, not to other individual members or a member of this committee and or the administration. So you get to tell me all the things officially. And you will be asked to share your name and address and make sure that they are your names and real addresses. We appreciate that. When we are crunched for time, the chair does, we will try and make sure that everyone has an opportunity to speak. We might have to reduce the 2 to 3 suggested minutes per person down to 1 so that we do not go on for exceedingly long amounts of time. But we have always done a really good job, I think, of extending when necessary. Anything else that members of the committee want to add to or questions about public comment stuff for clarification?
Just one clarification.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, so it's any citizen wishing to speak shall identify themselves by name and is it home address?
The policy says address.
Okay.
It is, and also this is time for the citizens of North Andover to share. At times, we do have people from out of district share things, and that we do allow that. If it's a busy night and we have a lot of people, we would try to have citizens and members of the community first share, and then other people afterwards. And that's helpful if we have the actual address of the person.
Isn't that,
We
Sorry,
also
go ahead.
don't necessarily we've had people in the past use schools as their address. We don't live at those places, although it feels like we do when we work in a school system. And it's supposed to be part of the way that you identify yourself for the public to make comment.
hasn't that come up when we've had people who were teachers in the school system?
Yep,
Particularly if they
and-
don't live here and then,
Yeah, and of
Probably more
course we
helpful.
want to hear from the union and we want them to encourage them. But in terms of like when people get to speak and making sure everyone has time, I would like to make sure that residents members of the citizens of the community have that opportunity first.
Oh,
And then,
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Kelly's question.
Yep.
I thought that they then said, I don't live here, but I teach at such and such a school.
which is actually
fine.
okay.
Yes, it's fine.
Saying I live at whatever Phillips Brooks Road,
Yep.
where Atkinson is, a little odder to me. That's my opinion, at least. Any other questions, clarifying things that we want to share? Okay. These are accessible for people, and I'll make them, and we'll make sure that I'll give the quick version every time when we do have public comment going on. But I just wanted to say that.
Mr. Chair, I just would like to recommend that when we do have a lot of people that want to speak, that we remind them of the fact that there's a beginning and an end, and that they might,
Yes.
that part, that
Yep.
they might hear things during the meeting, and their comments might be better at the end. They should
Yes.
we've got to remind them.
Of course, people have the option to speak either, but
Right.
you might learn something that might change the thing you want to say.
Or that might answer the question.
Yes. Moving on to upcoming events.
We don't have a lot on the calendar. Just a reminder to everyone that Tuesday, December 23rd is a half day here in North Andover. And then our students return to school on Monday, January 5th this year. And then I did just look it up quickly. Grease starts at the high school January 15th. It runs the 15th through the 18th. So get your tickets now for Grease.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Alrighty, moving on to presentations. So our next item on the agenda is the fiscal year 27 budget considerations. So before I turn it over to Superintendent Lathrop, and maybe, is it just you or Ms. Dowd too?
It might be a collective effort.
Collective effort, and maybe Ms. Ando as well.
Yeah.
Before I turn it over to the wonderful admin team, a couple of things. One, we are trying to do things sooner in the calendar year or in the school year than we have done in the past. So this is the first time we're having this type of presentation at this time of year. It's not a final version of the budget. We will get a official presentation of the proposed budget at our next meeting on January 8th. However, we want to make sure that we are communicating to the public as transparently as possible. Sometimes when we are transparent, that also means that the information could be incomplete, and we just want to recognize that. We might have questions for the administration that they will not yet be able to answer, and that is okay. We are very much talking about things live as we find them out right now, so we will be reacting in real time. That is okay. The reason why we've moved it up to now is that we have more time to have these discussions and have them be fruitful and guide where we are going. So we did learn on, and this might be in here, but I'll say it first. We did learn from the town manager and the fixed cost and revenue committee about their recommendations for all the departments this past Monday at the tri-board meeting. We also reviewed the capital improvement plan and what the town's five-year forecast looks like. So that some of that information was really important for us to know first before Mrs. Lathrop can do her job and her team can help her do her job before we can present a budget. So things are now moving along.
Great.
Should I say anything else?
I think you said a lot of great things.
All you.
Oh, great. So as Mr. Hicks said, we have some budget considerations to share with you. This is really, I want this to be informal as possible, to share some information with the school committee, and then also for you to give us some feedback, to give me some feedback, so our team can prepare the budget for January 8th. So just here's our cover page. This consideration represents all of our schools in North Andover, and that's a picture of some of our young learners at ABECC, and just being mindful of the fact that we're building budgets to support all of our learners, and they're our future. So just to give us a little bit of background information, this is the FY26 school committee budget. This is the budget that we're living in right now. So our FY26 total school budget is $69.2 million. And then about 60 million of that is spent on personnel. So that's about 81% of our budget is on personnel. And about 13 million of that is on general expenses, or about 20% of our budget is on expenses, just to give you a picture of what our sort of full budget looks like. So, as I said, our FY26 budget is $69.2 million. The budget increase that we received from the town manager at the tri-board meeting is 4.05%. That would give us a total budget of $72 million. We had also a conversation, this town manager talked about this at the tri-board meeting the other night, that the past 2 years, we as a school department have put some curriculum materials into the capital improvement plan. And instead of doing that, because it may or may not 100% fit into like what the life of those materials might be, she's taken the amount of money that we requested, the $200,000, and added it to our budget, which gives us a budget increase of $3 million for FY27, which is an amended total budget of $72.2 million, so $72.2 million. Just a reminder that the budget allocations for personnel and general expenses will be developed throughout the budget cycle, so you're not going to see those things this evening because those are the pieces that we're in the process of budgeting based on this information. So I thought it would be helpful just to share a little bit of a timeline so you understand like the budget process doesn't start like right now. The budget process for us really starts in August. So when you think about things in chunks, so really from August to November, some of the things that we've been doing is we developed the district improvement plan that was created, that was presented to our school committee. From the district improvement plan, our leaders, our building leaders created their school improvement plans with their school councils. And those, both the district improvement plan and the school improvement plans as presented to you, I think each group talked about how there might be some budget implications based on some of the goals that they have. During this sort of fall time, August to November, we meet with our leadership team, and they have an opportunity to present and develop budget requests that they share with the larger leadership team, myself, Ms. Ando, Gail, Ms. Dowd, our financial officer, and talk about some of the requests and the reasons why they need them for their schools. So they give us some justifications, what the cost might be, and sometimes they talk about things that they might be able to reduce in order to things that they might like to see. During this time, we're building the salary and the non-salary. Our finance team is working on the salary and the non-salary build-outs. This is based on our collective bargaining agreements and other contracts we have. Also during this time of the school committee, you all developed your budget directives, which I have linked there if anybody needs to see them again. But those were established, and that helps us as we move forward in the budget. And then we're also always looking at our building and our grade level enrollment and our caseload data, because that's going to impact what the next year's budget will be. Then as we move into this month, or the month that's pretty much ending soon, December. In December, we have the Revenue and the Fixed Costs Committee. That's a joint committee between the town and the school. It's opportunities to look at the revenues and the fixed costs that we have in North Andover. The committee makes recommendations to the town manager. She takes that information when she's determining, she considers that when she's determining the percentage for each of the budget centers. We had a tri-board meeting in December we have our tri-board meeting. That's the select board, the school committee, and the finance committee. It's when the town manager has the opportunity to give the 5-year financial forecast. Also at the tri-board meeting, she presented the capital improvement plans for this year. That was held just this week. Feels like it was a month ago, but it was just held Monday of this week, December 15th. We learned, again, at that meeting that the school department budget allocation is 4.005% above FY26. We're also analyzing our current performance data, looking at staffing, enrollment. All of those are important things that we consider when building a budget. In December, the month we're in now, we have what we're presenting this year as a preliminary budget overview presentation to the school committee. That's what's happening right now. And we are in the beginning process of our 5-year strategic plan. So you see the sort of color coding is that those are the things that have happened, and now we're sort of moving into January, part of the budget season. So on January 8th, I will share with the school committee the superintendent's recommended budget. We'll continue to work on budget decision-making and some refinement. The school committee will hold their public hearing on the budget on January 15th. And then the school committee will vote on the superintendent's recommended budget on January 29th. As we move into February and April, the school committee's budget will then be submitted to the town manager. And the town manager will submit the operating budget of all of the units in town, to the select board and the finance committee, and then we go to our annual town meeting on May 12th, 2026 to vote the budget as a town. That's sort of the timeline of the building of the process. So some important factors, good. Some important factors that we look at are our class sizes. We talked about that. We're always analyzing. So this is this year's elementary school class sizes for 2025, 2026. I want to draw your attention to the red circle where you see the Franklin School. The Franklin School currently has 4 fourth grades, but they only currently have 3 fifth grades. So that's a consideration that we will be looking at in order to continue to provide appropriate class sizes. We will have to, that's one of our big considerations, or a consideration as we're looking at staffing. Increases potential in the elementary. What we know from our students that are moving from ABECC, the Early Childhood Center, into first grade is that we will be able to remain stable in terms of the amount of first grades that we have in the district, but we will need to add an additional classroom at Franklin. Or you could surmise that I will be suggesting that we add an additional classroom at Franklin. Then when we look at the middle school, on the left-hand side, you see the enrollment for our middle school. We have 1,034 students that attend North Andover Middle School. And then the right-hand side, it shows you what the average class size looks like. So a couple of areas that have been an area that have been challenging this year are the related arts, particularly the related arts area. So a reminder that these are your class averages. So you see a 28 average in grade 6. You see a 27 average in grade 7, and you see a 26 average in grade 8. That means, though, that they could have classes that are a little bit high, like in the 30s or a little bit higher. So these are certainly areas that we're looking at in terms of FY27. In our high school, this shows your enrollment for North Andover High School. We have a total enrollment of 1,273 students at North Andover High School. 24 of those students participate in our Scarlet Knights Academy. So that's an opportunity for students who are in 11th and 12th grade. And then in the high school, our students are offered classes in college prep classes, honors classes, and advanced placement, and that's the class size, and we predict that that's going to remain stable for our next school year. And then we also added onto this chart Launch. So if you remember, Launch is our 18 to 22-year-old program. We currently have 12 students in that program. So this slide shares with you some known budget adjustments that we know going into FY27. So this year in FY26, we have added 3 teaching assistants that were not part of our budget for FY26. We've added those positions because we either had children that moved from out of district back into district that we needed to be able to support, or perhaps there were some students that may be potentially looking at an out of district placement, and we were able to give them more support within their current environment and able to keep them in school. And we have talked about some of these additions in the budget review that we've had with you. And then the one elementary teacher is based on the enrollment that I just shared in the elementary school. That these are pretty known these are known numbers that we know we have to incorporate into FY27. We also feel really confident, or saying that it's a known in terms of non-salary items, that we need 1 general education school bus. You've heard, I know you probably have heard from families, I've heard from families that our school buses are taking a little bit longer to get home than we would like, that some of them are a little bit more crowded than they were used to. And so our recommendation would be to add a school bus next year, and then also to add a special education school bus. Again, our students are on the bus longer than we would like to see them, and the ability to have an extra bus so that the routes aren't so long.
That's not us buying a bus. That's just incorporating one more bus into our
Correct.
contract.
That is adding
that
another bus to
additional
the contract.
Like, we're not
Good
buying a
question.
bus.
We are not buying a bus.
Like, who's driving?
The pigeon's driving the bus. So then, if you remember in the timeline, I talked about the time that our building administrators and leaders, our district leadership team, had some opportunity to get together, talk about priorities, thinking about requests that they would like to see. And we also, this is also building leaders, this is athletic directors, this is assistant superintendents, special education director, curriculum directors, our assistant principals, our program coordinators have all had some opportunities. This list is not the complete list of everything. But these are some of the budget requests that, just to give you a flavor of some of the things. And I want to point out that when we did this work with our leadership team, we focused on FY27 and beyond. So knowing that these are not all things that we're saying that are FY27 considerations, but these are considerations that we believe will support North Andover Public Schools. And we're really interested in seeing how this matches with our strategic planning that's already in process. So on this list, you'll see the continuation of high-quality instructional materials and curriculum adoptions, looking at that at a K-12 experience. Strategic planning implementation, so we make the assumption that from our strategic plan there may be some implementation or some strategies or some programs that may move forward. Continue to strengthen support programming and staffing for special education. I think we've heard that through some of the plans, through some of the school improvement plans, through some of the presentations that we've heard from Lynn, that's a priority for us in the district. Continuing to support our multi-tiered system of support. So this is looking at supporting students within the classroom, giving them extra support within the classroom, whether or not they need a small group pullout program, but to continue that work. Continue to increase our teacher leadership structure. You've heard us talk about FCIs and how we use teacher leaders in this district. So we teach our teachers and then the teachers teach their colleagues. We want to continue to expand that program in North Andover. We've been very successful with it. Continue to increase mental health supports for students. This has been something that we've talked about, I think, in every one of the school improvement plans. Our leaders talked about the culture, the climate, about caring for the social emotional needs of their students. Continue to expand teaching and learning, so that looks at areas like our curriculum directors. Right now we have 3 curriculum directors that are supporting pre-K to 12. That's a very heavy load. As we think about years as we move through, there's an opportunity, hopefully, as we continue to grow as a district, thinking about ways we can support elementary, middle, and high school. There are needs for an assistant principal, an additional assistant principal at North Andover High School, an additional assistant principal at North Andover Middle School, and an assistant principal at the Early Childhood Center. It's interesting. The Early Childhood Center is really our largest school in terms of size when you look at the schools, and it's not a school that we have been supporting with an assistant principal. So there is a need for that. World language programming and what that might look like. 6 to 8 related arts. You remember that was something that I pointed out in the middle schools class size and enrollment in terms of those related art classes being larger than we'd like to see. Assistant coaches for our varsity athletics. Facility upgrades or improvements are certainly important. We continue, although Master's Facility Plan 2 has changed slightly, we continue to need to maintain the buildings, some of the buildings that we have and what's in there. Technology updates are always important. We have heard from our students and from our families about some of the one-to-one. We currently only have a one-to-one program in grades 6 through 12 and what the needs might be in the elementary. And then daily substitute rate increase. So we pay our substitutes in North Andover $100 a day. That is not competitive with our neighboring districts. We find ourselves always running short on substitutes here. And so a priority would be to increase the substitute pay so that we could have a bit of a more robust substitute pool for our staff. Other things that we need to consider when looking at a budget for FY27 is what are our contractual agreements. So this shares with you the employee unit and what the % increase would be for FY27. So our teachers it's a 4% increase. Our teaching assistants, we're currently negotiating with them at this time. Our administrative assistants, we're also currently negotiating. Our custodians have a 3% increase and step adjustments in their contract. Our cafeteria workers have a 4%, but just want to point out that comes out of the revolving account. It does not come out of our operational budget. Administrators, as assistant principals and program coordinators, they are what we would call Unit B now. We always refer to them as Unit Beautiful. They have a contracted percent increase of 4%. And then non-union independent contracts have a contract increase of 4%. So we've heard the word level service budget, and we talk about level service budget, so it's really, I think it's important that we know that we all are on the same page about what a level service budget includes. So a level service budget should include all of your staff. It should have your COLAs, which is your cost of living adjustment. It should have your step or your column changes and any other contractual obligations that you have in that CBA. Your level service budget should include your special education out-of-district tuition increases and changes or addition to student placements. Your level service budget should include your transportation contracts. That's your general education, your special education, foster and homeless expenses, and then athletics. And then any other known contractual obligations, and that might be something like our copier contracts, our contracts that we have for our student management system would all be part of level services. Yep.
Level services budget, does that, because I'm going back to some of the, as you said, we're not just starting the budget season, right? We've been well into it with the information you've been presenting. And I remember Assistant Superintendent Ando, and it was a few meetings ago, you did a great presentation on the different schools and the school, and it was Ms. Larkham was here as well, kind of talking about the scores and kind of looking at where our schools were versus a whole series of different comparable schools. And one of the things that, right or wrong, I took away from that is if we keep doing what we're doing, we'll probably get the same results, but taking a look and where are all those things that as you and your team and the entire team is looking to see where are the types of changes to drive what you want, and to improve those scores as you see fit. How would you do that within a level I'm trying to correlate that to levels. Is level services doing what we've always done, or is level services also include putting in all of those incredible changes that you're seeing that are necessary? Is that weaved into a level services budget? I'm just
Ms. Dowd's going to take that one.
Okay.
What we were trying to step through is for the level services, that's looking at not necessarily doing the same thing that you're doing over and over. It's just we know we have a bus contract we're going into potentially year 4. We're building that in because it's known cost. For our staff across all of the boards, we know what the contractual increases are. So we're making sure we're building that in because that's what we need to pay the people that we have. We take all of this along with the slide, which is why we started with the budget requests and beyond. That sort of overarching is that as we're building it with considering these items, but we also know at the end of the day, regardless of the people here, we have contractual obligations on what we will need to pay them.
Okay.
So it's a combination of the two when we're building it. We have to start with the known. We have our student information system. That's going to stay regardless. We know it's going to increase next year. We have to build that in. So when we say level services, it's for the items we know day in and day out are always going to be here. We know what those costs are going to be because we have contracts to tie it to.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It makes
And then,
perfect sense. Thank you. So it's doing all the right things that we know we are accountable for, we are contractually obligated to, and just need to run the system while still allowing for the list that you had earlier of the budget requests and all those different changes can still be done within the level services budget. I think not within the level, but components of those could be done within a level services. I'm just trying to understand.
I would say that those are considered when we come back and present the budget. We would say, here are the items we've included that may not have existed this year that we're looking to
It's sort of how
incorporate.
it turns into the superintendent's recommended
Yes.
budget. So I'm going to, on January 8th, give you all of the level service things. These are going to be included, and then there may be some other recommendations that is part of that budget for you to consider before you turn it into the school committee's budget that you accept and move forward.
Okay, so you may notch up or notch down, notch in different directions what's in the level services to make the changes that you and your team think make sense to achieve what you want for the schools.
I think it could be both.
Yeah, that's so up, so
Or-
it could change. That's what I'm.
Yeah, I think you could, for me, when you say level services, it's purely just the amount of money that, we're gonna have roughly the same number of full-time employees, but some of the functions of those might get shifted a little, and we might add some new ones, and some might be doing one thing and
Different
not,
things.
and do something different already, all that is a possibility. But this is just this is
And I think
in terms
that's,
of number of people we have and we're gonna need to keep here in general, like with some tweaks?
And this was to also really let people know that we are making sure that whatever contractual obligations we have not forgotten about those, that we're moving everything along. We're not using last year's salary data or last year's bus rates. We're, in order to do it, we're moving it all forward with the new rates.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that, like, some of those desires that you listed there might be able to be included, but others might not, right? Like, you're gonna come,
That
And
might,
tell us
yes,
that,
that would,
right.
might be included in the superintendent's recommended budget. But if you remember from last year, I don't want to get into the colors again, but, you know, level service is really taking, basically, if you just had what you had now and moved it forward, and it's going to increase because you have contracts that are going to increase because you have COLAs or staff changes. So your budget will go up because of those contractual things, but the basics of what you're providing stays the same. So you're just providing a level service budget.
It's not any new initiative.
Correct.
You might
yeah.
argue that one teacher at whichever school that was sort of counts because those kids are already here. But like if you said, we have this idea for a really neat new curriculum, could be in your budget, but it wouldn't be in the level service
So what you look
budget.
at is when you think about your level services, as you roll that up, you get your number of what all of the things that you have now, what you're paying for, and what you know you'll be paying for next year, and then how much money you have, you know, if we're looking at the guidance by the town manager, and what's the difference between the two, and that's the additional funding that you have in order to start looking at the priorities,
If any.
if any.
and as a committee, we can always say we want more than that, right? We have that option. We might not want to do it, but we could.
Right, what
Right.
you have the option of, so I will present a budget to you on January 8th, you have to decide if you want to vote for that budget or not.
Right.
But if we ask for more, we're pretty much committing ourselves to an override because the manager told us exactly what she's doing with all the money within our 2.5 limit.
We might be getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
I wasn't suggesting one way or another.
No,
I
I'm
was
just-
just pointing
Yep.
out that if we exceed that number, we don't have the authority to get that. And the only way to get it without an override is if the town agrees to cut something out. Correct.
Yeah, just, and then the last slide is looking at what are the next steps. So the next steps are we continue to analyze our budget priorities. That was the slide I shared with you. We continue to evaluate and fine tune all of our line items. And then on January 8th, there'll be a superintendent's recommended budget that will move forward to you.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Questions?
Questions? I think it would be helpful if we go back through in order to stay focused and we're not jumping around and getting confused. Anyone have any questions about the FY 26 budget allocations? I do.
Okay.
Is that split of the pie typical? Is that what most districts,
I would say
that,
that
like,
was
we're
About
normal?
like an
That's
we're
very
normal.
typical.
We're
We're
right in
normal?
line.
Thank you.
It's about it's typically 80-20-ish, so it's very
Okay.
normal.
We're not over, under, or, no, okay, great, thank you.
So it's hard, if I may say, it's hard to answer that question because in our district, this budget doesn't include all of the maintenance of the buildings, and in other districts it does. So this isn't all the money spent by the town on our schools, and that's true in every town, or in most towns.
Right, but
But
Gail's-
looking at this, I would say I've worked in districts where the town has all the maintenance, and the split tends to be pretty consistent from what
Okay.
I've seen. Every district being, you could have 86-14, 80-20,
we're within
It's
the realm of
reasonable.
normal,
yes.
based on your vast experience of town finance, school stuff.
Yes.
Vast. We're gonna go with vast. That's why you're here, you're so good at it. Any questions on the preliminary FY 27 budget?
Well, I would just make, it's not a question, a comment, but I think the manager was very good to us on this year.
Yeah.
I get the sense that we got at least a fair share, if not a little bit more.
I mean, my question is, will 72 So one of the FinCom committee members asked at the tri-board meeting on the other night whether or not 4.05% would be enough for 72.2 million, and we don't know yet. I'm hopeful. If
Whether
it was
it's enough for,
that we can do level services and we don't need to do any cuts,
right,
right? We
Right.
don't know yet.
right, exactly. It sounds like
This feels
we're doing all the stuff you need to do to answer that question.
right. This feels like it's a possibility. But I'm very hopeful now. If it was based on last year's numbers that we were seeing from the financial forecast, that would have been not good. So I am right now, I'm hopeful. And I said that the other night.
Yeah, well, I mean, mathematically, right, if we get 4.05% and our biggest obligation is the teacher's contract that goes up 4%, that sounds pretty good.
But
Well,
Doesn't
depends what the 4% means. Does it mean including steps, or is it 4% but not counting the steps?
The 4% is the COLA.
Sorry?
It's the
The
COLA.
4% is the COLA.
So it
And
doesn't
not the
include
steps.
Correct.
So that
Correct.
means that
It's,
the same number of teachers, the cost's gonna go up by more than 4%.
Depends on the makeup of them. You have changes. It's.
Well, of course,
it's
some retire
complicated,
and
but
new
yeah.
ones come,
Yep.
yeah.
any questions on timeline? The next two slides. Elementary class sizes. So, do we have space, if projecting, you do request a new elementary teacher, and they are assigned to Franklin's, 5th grade, do we have space in Franklin for
That's a great
a
question.
teacher?
And this will be in my January 8th. I'll share this, but I can share it now too. So capital improvement, in our capital improvement, we requested 1.3, I believe, million dollars to move the 4 portables that are at the former Kittredge School to the Franklin School. So Franklin School had one very old portable that we demolished last summer. That took away one space. It actually wasn't being used because it wasn't in a good shape to have humans in that space.
Good, it's gone.
And we have 2 portables that still remain at Franklin that are they're not in great shape, that we would recommend removing, and then take these 4 classrooms to Franklin. And so that is part of the recommended capital improvement plan. So that will allow us to have the space that Franklin needs for this additional classroom, and then to lighten the load in terms of the way that they have sort of been creative with their space a little bit. So to give some classes better use of space, which ultimately would be better learning environment for kids.
So a net gain of 2 classrooms at Franklin.
Correct.
One for a general ed classroom and one for auxiliary space for other things.
Right, we have some.
So other programmings that you
Correct. We have, perhaps more than one special education teacher in a room, or we may have special education and ESL teachers sharing a classroom in order to give people better spaces for learning.
Thank you.
Welcome. That was a great question.
Any questions about middle school enrollment and class sizes? I have one.
I don't have a question. I guess it's a comment, a favorable one, I think. I was somehow talking to somebody about middle school and high school classes, but the traditional classes are slightly smaller, and I'm guessing that has to do with the fact that we really want the teacher to assign papers and then read them.
Well,
And that you can't do that at those classes. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
These are average sizes for the related arts, and one of the related arts in there is PE and fitness. Typically, those classes, I've seen those classes like on purpose be a little bit bigger, and in other places I've worked, like contractually, we don't do this here. The sizes for some classes would be limited at 25 or 28, whereas phys ed classes were limited at 35. We don't have that, but are these class averages being driven by larger phys ed classes, or is it just like, or is it it's the art classes and the music, like?
It's being driven by all of our related
Okay.
arts, specifically wellness, health, PE, fitness.
Yeah. Yeah. And what would the ideal number, like if you could bring this down, where would be the target?
I think a 25 is a reasonable number. for our related arts classes.
Okay.
And, you know, I think even if they were 25, 26, 27, but we really are trying to reduce the ones that are in the 30s.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything?
We have a few classes that are 32, 31, and so our goal would be to eliminate, to drop those numbers. But yes, about between 25 and 27 would be ideal.
How
Are
many?
those arts
Are there-
classes or general classes?
Those are related arts classes.
Are there any related arts classes that have a really low enrollment? That are kind of balancing on the other side, or most of them?
One of the tricky parts is, I think maybe some of the music components, and Mr. Gonzalez is looking at that schedule for next year based on the way that, you know, you only may have a certain amount of students that take one instrument, and so and the way that it works,
Design
some of them
almost.
can look a little bit smaller. So it means a slight change in scheduling, and that is also something that he's currently looking at for next year, how we might be able to really change the schedule in order to make it to accommodate our students. And I think we can take more students in chorus, but they don't have chorus second trimester, which makes some of the other classes a little bit larger second trimester.
So I guess that's the idea of how are we using our resources, how are we using our people, and how the idea that like how can we reassign them. So can we do everything we'd like to do? Maybe yes, maybe no, but we can do things differently.
How many additional RA teachers do you think it would take to get your numbers down there?
I don't know that I have the answer to that yet.
Okay.
Do we teach with the orchestra or the band? Does he teach each instrument separately, or the group as a whole, or both?
Both. And some instruments that could naturally be combined are combined. But it's also scheduling, and you're taking kids from different grades, and
Right.
it's scheduling in middle school is a hard job.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
Oh, and this breaks the whatever the team thing, right? Because they can be from all the 3 or 4 different teams.
I
Doing
believe
related
so,
arts.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I see that it's very
Yeah,
complicated.
it's
I'm
complicated.
glad you
Scheduling
guys
in
are
middle
doing
school
it,
is
not
a
us.
very complicated task.
Right.
It's a linear programming problem. That's what it is. It's hard, yeah.
That's why I was an elementary principal.
I feel like a middle school schedule, if you're going to team in middle school, it's the hardest thing to build a schedule for. Because when you introduce that, it creates a very limiting factor that you then have to hold on to.
I'm sorry, when you
introduce teaming and you want to hold on to that, it's a huge constraint on your schedule, and yet there's lots of things you have to build around that huge constraint, and just those two things don't go together, so it's very hard.
Isn't that central to a middle school, the whole team concept?
Not always.
I'm sorry?
Not always.
Not always. I mean, you can have a junior high model.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
then it's not a.
then it's not a
middle school.
middle school model. Right.
Sure. Questions on high school enrollment?
How do we oh, I see, I'm sorry. I was going to ask how we understand class size, but there they are.
Oh, I have a question on that. Those are the ranges?
That's the ranges.
Yeah, okay, so.
That's the ranges for this year, and the high school
anticipate-
is anticipating it to stay stable next year.
Yeah, it's a little easier to schedule them there, isn't it? All
So,
right.
in elementary, how many classes do students take, and how many classes does a teacher teach?
Where?
At high school?
Students have 7 sections. It is on a rotating schedule, so they don't have all 7 sections all day. Am I right?
I was gonna say, let's ask Tom
Waterfall.
that
One
question.
of them drops, right? And then a teacher teaches either 5 or 6 periods a day. Do you have the answer to that?
I don't know about the teachers, but you definitely got that student schedule right.
Mhm.
I know a lot of my teachers definitely have a prep period, I think they call it, and then so that would make sense for 5 or 6, yeah.
They teach 5, and so 7 with a dropped period, and then the teachers teach 5. Lynn's filling me in.
You're right. So, the ratio of students to teachers isn't the same as the class size, because one is doing more than the other, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just something to keep you, alert, right?
Absolutely.
Any questions on known budget adjustments?
Yes, so I think, Ms. Lather, we said that the staffing, the left side here, that
Mhm.
actually happened this year, right? Because we had
Well, 3 teaching assistants happened this year. They are now in FY '26 that we will be carrying into FY '27, but they're They're additions to our budget this year.
And the elementary
And then
teachers
the other
next year.
elementary teacher, I'm making the, on this one, I did make the assumption that we will be adding an elementary teacher for that one class that's bubbling up at Franklin School.
That you showed us, okay, but that one wasn't added, this, I was confused.
Correct.
So the first bullet point was added this year, and we were able to absorb that
Yep.
various ways, and then the new elementary teachers next year. And then the non-salary stuff is next year.
Next year. So
Yeah.
I'm sort of saying pretty fact certain that we need one elementary
Yeah.
teacher and that we need to add one more bus to our current contract for general education and one more bus to our current contract for in-district special education.
Okay.
So the teaching assistants are here now,
Correct.
and you found a way to pay for them within the budget.
Correct.
So then, in a way, they're not an increase to next, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't have pointed it
No,
out to us.
you're right. It's not an increase, but because we had some savings in one area, we transferred that money or use that funding that way. So we will still consider to budget the way we budgeted before, so that will drive it up.
Oh, I see, okay. Okay.
And it's also being transparent to let
Yeah.
folks know
That's
things
what
that have
happened,
shifted.
yeah.
Thank you.
So
Love
we
it.
have both these teachers, so this has been a question, because we hired most of our teaching assistants that were additional this year as long-term substitutes. But because we knew that these were these were needs, we moved these to permanent positions. And we
okay.
still continue to maintain some long-term substitute teaching assistants that at this time, we're not saying fact certain we'll need them for next year.
Budget request for fiscal year 27 and beyond.
And again, just a reminder, this is not a complete comprehensive list, but I pulled out some of the highlights.
If you were, what would be a daily substitute rate that would make us competitive and attractive to them?
It's a really hard thing to say, because I think that, I'll answer this in saying that I think it's important that we raise our substitute rate, but I also am not going to choose a number right now because there are other priorities, and we may not be able to do that this year.
Mhm.
And so I think
Maybe a multi-year phase where we look to increase it over the next couple of years. We're looking at fill rates, we're looking at neighboring communities, so
I
would
think-
not want to put a rate out there that people have in their mind, and then we're not.
And we're also looking at different models a little bit. So there are some districts that have a model where you have you may remember this from Andover, so you have a permanent daily substitute. So that person comes every day, 5 days a week, it's going to happen. That person gets paid more. They also become benefit eligible, so there's some different, but it's something that happens within the building. And then there are models where, based on your degree, you may get paid a different rate. If you're a retired teacher, so sort of the assumption is if you're a retired teacher, you already know the curriculum of our district, so you probably can maybe deliver it a little bit differently. So we may pay you, there are some districts that pay retired teachers a higher rate because we want them to come back and substitute because they know how to do it.
And do we have any building-based substitutes here?
We do not
Don't, oh, okay.
currently.
So, yeah.
So we bought some high-quality instruction material this year.
We did.
So we wouldn't we could still buy some next year without raising the budget. I'm not saying as much as you want,
Yeah.
but some.
Right. Yep. Yes.
Thank you. Any questions on contract?
Oh, can I, just because we were talking about this at the committee, what about, are you, you're saying that in this basic budget, no change in the number of special education teachers other than these 3 assistants?
No, so if you look at the third bullet, strength and support programming and staffing for special education.
Well, that's why I asked the question, yeah.
Yeah, so that would mean that one of the considerations is more staffing.
Okay, thanks.
Questions on contractual agreements for next year?
Just, who are the independent contracts or non-union? Is that?
Me,
Oh.
Kristen, Lynn,
okay.
the principals.
Sorry. Okay. I need to eat dinner before these meetings.
It's a good question. I'm sure somebody at home is saying, who's non-union?
Who's non-union? Why are we hiring non-union people?
Yeah. We
Thank
tease you,
you.
but it's an excellent question because I'm sure somebody else at home has the same question.
No, you're right. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay. But I guess
No.
I'm glad I asked it.
I
even
am
though
glad you
feel-
asked it too.
feel silly.
And we've already talked about level services budget and next steps. Other things that people have as percolated, we can leave it a little bit more open now. Ms. Vermeer?
I was still back on the level services, so I think it's the term level services. I'm always challenged a little bit on exactly what that means. And I guess what exactly is a
In the
level services
education
budget?
world, when you hear people speak of level services basically means taking what you currently have, rolling it up, and making no additions to the budget. And the money goes up because of the contractual agreements. So you are just trying to maintain what you have.
When you talk about maintaining what you have, could you do something different with the same amount? And what I'm torn with is I'm going
Yeah,
back I'm like doing the same thing. We keep doing the same thing we're doing.
Let's say that level services, I'm just going to make this up.
Yep.
Folks at home that are watching, this is just a hypothetical situation. So let's say in level services, you have 25 related arts teachers, right? So you could make the assumption that you're going to move them forward to the next budget, that you're going to move that forward to 25 related arts teachers. Now, there is something about building-based authority and what are the needs of the students. So if we're keeping the budget level services so that money's there and you don't need 25 related arts teachers, you could make a change, but you're still having that amount of money into your building and supports.
Okay, so level services is more another possible description of it. Not level, it's your current funding plus your known escalations, but you could be doing something different with that funding to get what you need.
You could, but you
4
would
years.
want to be really transparent about
Yeah.
that, about how those changes would look, because that's not, I would say, to be honest, that I don't think that that most people would see that. They see level services taking what you have
Yeah,
and basically moving it forward. But it's that's what it is. So
Yeah,
it's just
that's-
taking your budget and all you're doing is you're adding funding in order to meet the COLAs, the steps, the lane increases, the contracts that you currently have that you know you have to pay for, and that's the new budget number.
And I guess that's why I'm asking the questions, is trying to be really just trying, we don't know it all yet, right, obviously,
Yeah.
right, or most of it yet, but being really transparent that even with the funding and with all of those known contractual escalations, which are so important and we'll know and be able to cover those, we could be doing something different with that money if that's what is needed. Right, so it doesn't mean level service, that could be happening
in
within
essence,
level
yes.
services. Okay. I just don't want people, because I think that
Yeah,
there's
but-
people here at
but-
level services, I mean, we're gonna do the same thing, we've got the money, we're gonna do the same thing, same people, same seats, same jobs.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily, doesn't mean that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that.
They
Right,
could
you
be
could have,
doing-
can I ask a question? So,
Yep.
let's suppose, just again hypothetical, so we needed, say, one fewer special ed teacher across the district, but we needed one more general ed teacher across the district. We're still providing the same services we're providing the services at the same level as last year, but we adjust for what's needed, right? Because those things do change.
Right. Where it wouldn't be level services is if you needed that special ed teacher and you needed another general ed teacher and you made the decision to move that money to general education and then the caseloads went up for folks
Right,
in
that's
special
not
education.
level
That's not level
services.
services.
Right. But sometimes things change because enrollment changes,
Correct.
right? And we can provide the same level of
Right.
services
But
possibly
you're
with
really
different numbers of people.
thinking about it more in the bottom number of your dollars that you have
Yeah.
in order to operate your district. So you have whatever dollars you had this year, and the only ads are ads that are contractual or that you know about. And so that's how the number changes.
In economist terms, you'd say that it's a constant, in real dollars, it's the same budget.
Yeah.
Meaning the amount of people or things stays the same and the unit cost is expressed, that's the only increase.
You could do something different with it to get different
If it's the
results. if you
same
want it.
units, number of units, yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I would welcome questions or clarifications, or if there are things, it is a fairly short turnaround to January 8th. So I want to make sure that I'm considerate of what you're hoping to see.
Ms. Ando, can you do me a favor and go back to the third slide, 1 to 4th slide? And can we, next one?
Oops.
Can you just click on the budget directives to remind ourselves
Oh, sure.
of the directives? What we said we wanted to do?
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Because this is what the plan ultimately is based on, for doing for next year.
Well, that's this year's.
Right, but
We
this
made
is,
these already, yeah.
these are the directions that we have given, and then,
No, this is last year's directive.
Oh, it's last year?
Oh, it's wrong.
That's last year, that's the one we're living with now.
okay, sorry,
But we did give you
right?
some for this year.
we did.
We did. Hold
Misliked.
on.
It's okay.
I think I can change that in a second, hold on.
No, instead, at the beginning of the presentation next time, for the budget,
Yeah.
can you just, why don't we just spend a moment at the beginning of the next presentation saying these were the directions that we were given, here's the budget, and here's how we have followed your directions. I think that would be a useful thing to do.
We can do that for the.
Yeah.
That's my error, I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it, that, no
I do
problem.
worry.
So I want to ask, I guess this follows up something that the chair said. The budget increase is 4%, all the contract increases are 4%. Probably we shouldn't be too optimistic. Is that a fair conclusion? Not appropriate, I suppose, at the holiday season, but it's kind of hard to avoid that conclusion.
It's hard to answer that question, because I have to make the assumption, if you say that that what you want is for me to present a budget to you that meets the town manager's recommended 4.05%. So,
But we actually haven't had a discussion about that.
we
have
haven't, so, but I
Right.
guess that's why I'm saying that's a hard question to answer. I feel I have a responsibility in terms of that's what I know the funding is, but I also have a responsibility to present a budget to you that I think is reflective of the needs of North Andover
Both, I
for
think,
FY '27.
which is what you did last year.
Correct, but I also.
Which I thought was fine.
I'm glad you thought that.
No,
I
did.
don't know that we want to have multiple budgets this year the way we did that. I thought that was extremely confusing, and not as helpful in the end as it could have been. So I just want to be mindful of the fact that that's not my approach this year, to have the rainbow of budgets the way we did last year.
No, but just what you said now makes so much sense. You need to present
Mm-hmm.
level services, and you also need to present what it would look like to live within the manager's budget.
Mhm. Yes.
And they may not be the same. That seems right to me.
Well, we know what the manager's number is, so I want to know, from my point of view, I'd like to know your number, your recommended number,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
and we take it from there.
And she needs time
I'm
to work
hopeful
on
that they're pretty close. It's Christmas, I'm gonna ask for that, to be under the tree. I've been a good boy.
Hold on
Um,
one second.
So, any other queries for Ms. Lathrop regarding the budget?
Nope.
Kristen, if I,
Are you trying to link the,
yeah, hold on. Actually, if I just email it to you, does that work?
Or if time permitting, if we want to take the approach that Mr. Hicks recommended, we'll add a
Yes,
slide for the
absolutely.
next, and we'll
Yeah.
annotate sort of this is how we address.
Yeah, what I can
Then-
do is I
yeah.
will have Michelle send you the budget, send you a reminder of the budget directives for FY '27. You can look at this presentation and feel free to send Michelle any questions or concerns or things you want to make sure, you would like me to consider for the budget presentation
Oh,
of
that's
the 8th.
perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
does that make
Thank
sense?
you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
that's
Thank
good.
you. No worries, appreciate it. Alrighty. Superintendent, are we doing mid-cycle goal first, or your report?
I'm going to do the report quickly first.
Okey dokey. that's
Look
pretty.
at that. So the front, this is the rendering of the Kittredge, the new MSBA project for Kittredge School. The town manager shared this at the tri-board meeting the other night. And I just thought it would be nice to share that again tonight. Oh, and I guess Mr. Brown may talk about this, but, so I don't want to steal your thunder, but one of the things that we did learn at the tri-board meeting as well was that because of the fixed cost and revenue committee and the revenue that's coming into town, the town will not be asking for a debt exclusion for Kittredge Elementary School. That is included, so we won't be going to town meeting asking for a debt exclusion for the Kittredge School.
We will be asking for debt.
Yes.
For the issuance of bonds.
Correct.
Which requires a 2/3 vote, but not the debt exclusion, which would then require
An election.
An election afterwards.
Correct.
So that is a good thing.
Okay, some recognitions. We had a group of fourth grade teachers who, and their principal came from Linfield. They came to observe Wit and Wisdom lessons. They really wanted to see it in its entirety, and they wanted to debrief. They're a school that's also been implementing for multiple years, and they were really interested in seeing how other districts who are also deep in the implementation were doing. Jacqueline Taylor, one of our curriculum coordinators, oversaw this professional development. This is a partnership that Linfield is really opening to continuing in the future, inviting some of our teachers to go see them. It was the Huckleberry Hill School in Linfield that came to see our students. I
Best
know, isn't that the
mascot. That's an
cutest little
awesome
mascot?
I mean, it's no dragon, but it's pretty amazing. It's so
Right?
cute. Yeah, not that the dragon is better, but yeah.
But I think this is, I think it's a really wonderful opportunity when you have districts that are, fairly close to each other, that you're implementing the same curriculum, how's it working, and they're both sort of deep into it, so it's not like a first year. Then if you didn't know, December 10th was the 67th day of school, and 6-7 appears to be something, I know, but we decided to embrace it here in North Andover. Many of the teachers, they call it an underground spirit day. They came to school as 6-7 because their kids say it all the time. I don't know what it means, don't ask me.
It doesn't mean anything.
Our middle schoolers have a literacy league. Chrissy Sear is the teacher that oversees that. They published their fall literacy league issue, so that link there will take you to their fall issue of the literacy league, which is great. Yep, and there's their issue.
Oh,
Yep,
nice.
and you can go back and you can see some of the work that the kids have done. Last night was the North Andover High School's music department winter concert. They're under the direction of Mr. Isaac Glick, and I hope I said that right, and Justin Smalley. They presented their winter concert. It was really great. Some of you may know I had the opportunity to conduct sleigh bells. I had a really fun time. The kids were fantastic. So I didn't share with you this time some of the things that I've been doing since the last time I saw you, because we're going to talk about goals, and I think in many ways they merge together. So I just wanted to give you an update on about where we are with our strategic planning. Just a reminder, we're working with Teaching Learning Alliance. We have added a new partner. Many of you met Phil Conrad and Rebecca Goslin, and then they have brought in Ed Lee, who is one of their partners as well to support our district. We've also changed the timeline. If you look back at the last time I presented this, we were hoping to end in March, but because of some, the snow, we had to cancel one meeting. We just have to move on forward. We have to add a meeting. We have some good amount of data that's coming in. They recommend that we think about stretching it out a little bit. So we have already built our strategic planning committee. We've had our first meeting. That was 12/16, so it was Tuesday of this week. The survey is built. We had a little over 300 folks who participated in the survey, but we also noticed that of those 300, we didn't have quite as many students as we wanted to see. So we are opening up the survey for everyone, but with the push of trying to get some of our North Andover High School students to participate in the survey. So the survey will be reopened. It has been reopened and will close on December 23rd. I put the survey link in here as well. And we sent out a note to families today about that. Our focus groups have all been completed. That was two Mondays, and then last night, what's tonight, the 18th? Yes, last night we held our virtual focus group.
Superintendent Lathrop, how was the participation? Was there enough participation in them
It
to
really
get what they
varied.
needed?
Some had a lot of participation, some had less, a little bit smaller, but it didn't, the consultants really felt as though even the ones that didn't have lots of people that came, they got lots of great information
so
from that. But we also want to make sure we have as many voices as possible heard, and that's why we're putting the survey back out there.
Awesome. I know the focus group I went to had 2 people,
Yeah.
including myself, right? So it was just making sure that we're hearing from everyone in the voices. So the survey is the other way to do that. So great. Thank you.
Yes.
Great.
And we'll start working on data analysis, so the team has met, and the team will start to have some opportunity to look at some of the responses from the focus groups and from the surveys. And then, we're on track to present to the school committee. Then just a reminder of some of the things that we have going forward. On the left-hand side, you see your school committee budget updates. So we completed November's. You'll have one tonight from Ms. Dowd, and then just what FY27 budget timeline looks like. And then on the right-hand side are what are some of the school committee meetings that are coming up. It was really hard for me to type 2026 on these. We had planned on doing a transportation presentation tonight or a transportation update. Ms. McCarthy has been out a couple of days this week, so we don't have that update for you. We will make sure we provide that at another time. And then I will include the CIP budget in the budget presentation next week as well. So really you see that the next few meetings are really largely centered around the budget. Just want to point out on January 29th, you'll receive the first read of FY27 school calendar. Those are
Can I ask-
online? Yes.
A question about transportation, which has to do with Crest. And, my going to their board meetings. If they were running buses for us, would it save us money, and should I be pushing for that?
We have a transportation agreement with SEAM, which is our other collaborative that we work with.
I'm sorry, okay. So are they doing it now, or I thought you said don't we have a private contract as well?
We do, but the way SEAM works is that SEAM negotiates the contract for us in terms of am I getting this correctly?
For our
District.
special education transportation, that is done through SEAM. North Reading Public Schools has a contract for in-district transportation, in-district general ed transportation, and in-district special education are our contracts that we go out and negotiate. But for the out-of-district special education, that's all done through SEAM.
But whatever benefits we would get from a collaborative, we're getting?
We're getting, yes,
Correct.
we
Oh,
are.
okay, that's mainly what I was wondering about.
Thank you.
Questions? Nope.
Um,
How was my wait time? Nope.
Moving on. We are going on to the superintendent's mid-cycle review. So this is one of the things we're supposed to do each year in part of our evaluation process. The superintendent's going to take a few minutes to remind us of what her goals were and the progress that she has made on them. If we have questions, we can ask, but it's really just meant to be mostly her sharing, this is what I've been doing and how the process is going. That's the main focus of
Yep.
this presentation.
Yep. And I want to point out, that's really what I try to do in my superintendent report every week. That's why I tell you some of the things that I've been doing and where I've been going, so that you can sort of put that in your Rolodex in your mind as you think about the evaluation. But we'll just maybe synthesize that a little bit today. I do believe that in your packet you have a copy of my current goals, and just because on the slides I just gave a sort of condensed version. So, here's some pictures of some things that are happening that I think pertain to the goals, some of the work that we've done. So we can move on. Goal 1 was a professional practice goal. As you remember, that's really about me engaging with the new superintendent induction program, participation in Leading Now, collaborating with other colleagues, and the Merrimack Valley. These professional learning communities really will help help me strengthen my communication skills, community engagement, building trust with stakeholders, and accelerate my effectiveness as a superintendent. So I just relisted the action steps for you, but then in the benchmark, so what I had listed in my mid-cycle was that documentation of participation, reflection notes, bless you, and applied learning and communications. So I listed there for you the things that, I've been doing. So NSEP is the new superintendent induction program. I have full-day trainings, so I participated in July, August, September, October, November, and December in full-day trainings with the new student new superintendent induction program. And then as part of that, I also have a personal coach, and I've had a coaching session on July 28th, August 18th, September 11th, October 2nd, October 16th, October 23rd, and December 1. I don't know what was going on in October, but I must have needed a lot of support. No, but really what we do during the coaching sessions is I think we've only had one coaching session here, where maybe she and I chatting together. I share my calendar of events with her, like my site visits, my school building visits, or my principal or admin leadership team meetings, or if there's something that I'm leading, and she picks different things to come with me, and then we debrief afterwards. So Jane Tremblay is the coach from NSEP. She's come with me to the high school to do some walkthroughs with the principal at the high school. We went to ABECC together. We have we did something else. Oh, she came to administrative meeting to see how we lead our principals together. So, and then some of those meetings have also been joint. So she coaches the superintendent from Hopkinton, Stoneham, and Swampscott as well. So sometimes we have a joint session. Leading Now is a national organization that I belong to that is an organization to benefit superintendents. This summer I did have the opportunity to go to the summer conference there, and then I participated in some of their sessions throughout the school year. So in August they had a budgeting briefing where they bring in an expert on budgeting. They give us some opportunity. This is held virtually, some opportunity to learn from them and ask questions. And then in September, I participated in educational politics and policies that are pertaining to education. Merrimack Valley Superintendents, is he okay there? Merrimack Valley Superintendents meetings were held in September, October, and December. I wasn't able to participate in the November one. We've had topics on media relationships for superintendents. That was a really wonderful presentation. It's a former media person, and she really talked about ways that you can get ahead of things, how you want to help front office staff if media arises, ways that you communicate. We're actually thinking about doing some of that work with our staff moving forward. And then we had some legal updates from council to superintendents as well, which is really helpful. Some of the things that I feel like that I've been doing that support my communication is nightly news. That's an opportunity for me to tell the community some of the things that are happening. I provided a welcome video this year, just sort of set the stage for the school year. That actually came from a community chat parent, I think last year, that had shared that might be helpful. Also open to doing those things again. And I feel as though I'm very responsive to staff and families and emails, and a lot of my communication style has been directly through the experiences I've been having. Do you want to do questions at each one? Just keep going.
Let's do them all.
Okay. Student learning goal really focused on prioritizing the support of the district-wide implementation of high-quality instructional materials, our professional development, and making sure that we are monitoring and having student engagement. So mid-cycle was looking at some documentation of participation, reflection notes, and applied learning and communications. That link there, if you want to click on that, Kristen, this shows you our professional development update. So I just gave you a sample of what this looks like. So on December 10th, these are the things that all of the folks in North Andover participated in terms of professional development, what the activity was, where they would be having that, and then who was in charge of making sure that happened with them. So we have a plan like this for every one of our professional development days, as well as a district-wide plan.
Can I ask about you mentioned progress monitoring, and
Mr. Moskowitz, why don't we let Ms.
all right.
Lathrop go through the whole thing, and then we'll go back to and ask questions.
Okay.
Sure. We have a classroom visit tool. I have talked about this in some of my superintendent updates before that we worked on with our principals. This is really calibrating the way that we visit classrooms and the way that we're seeing the work, so that we have some shared mindset together. We have deeper learning visits through Kaleidoscope that have been happening as well. Our high-quality instructional materials implementation has been moving along this year. Our educational leaders' classroom visits, they are tracking their visits. We have tracking sheets for our leaders in terms of the classrooms they're visiting and areas of need. Classroom performance, we continue to look at formative assessments. We have curriculum exit tickets and observation notes. So in all of our PD, we have exit tickets that we ask our staff to participate in, and then reflection that our curriculum directors with supervision from Ms. Ando are using as they plan for the next set of work. Progress monitoring is happening. We have mid-year assessments in February. And then professional development meeting notes. So in all of our professional development, we continue to keep very good notes. We have a professional development committee that's working with the union as well as for planning for moving forward. In terms of finance and budgeting, you know, we talked, my goal is really focused on leading the budget. Oh my goodness. I have been out every night this week. Not out like socially, out professionally every night this week.
Sure about that?
Oh, Lord. But really looking at strategic planning in our district, transparent updates, monitoring, forecasting our needs, and having accurate budgeting. So what I listed here for you is all of the budget updates from September to December. So the September one, if you recall, was really more explaining why you weren't receiving one in September because of the way that we budget. But it also has it had a update from Human Resources in terms of the staffing that we brought in over the summer. And then October, November, and December, our budget updates that you've seen, well, you'll see the December one soon. And then on the right-hand side there is the town meeting school budget meeting. So we continue to have, we've had all of our meetings once a month with the town where we review our budget with them so that they can feel confident that we are adhering to the budget and that we are going to come out stable this year. I've shared with this before, but I took economics class at Georgetown University, which required 2 days of on-campus learning, and then the rest of my classes were virtual, and we passed. Kristen and I took it together, so now we have a certificate from Georgetown University in educational finance. I did do my 30B training with the Office of the Inspector General, and I also completed my fraud training with the Office of Inspector General. I also passed those 2 courses and have received my certificate.
You're certified in fraud?
I'm certified in fraud.
No,
No,
it's
I am
such a
not.
strange
fraud,
thing.
Fraud awareness. I think I probably should have put the word awareness in there. Fraud
yeah.
awareness
Right,
training.
otherwise it kind of implies that you
Yes.
learn to, the opposite, right?
Yes. Strategic planning is really talking about our visions for the next, 3 to 5 years and what we're hoping to accomplish. We want to think about our strategic plan, our portrait of a graduate. So really what I have listed here, we will have a bigger presentation for Portrait of a Graduate at some point, but what I've listed here for you are really the work around the strategic planning. That's the initial letter that we sent out to tell people about the committee and to solicit members to join, the focus group listing, and then the survey, just a reminder of what the survey looked like.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Some brief questions from the committee. Anyone have questions about the superintendent's progress on our professional practice goal?
Oh, do you mind reminding me what the entry plan was all about? I just can't remember that.
So the entry plan really is part of new superintendent induction program, and I'm in a weird spot because a lot of it I had completed, but it is a requirement of that, so it is in parallel to the strategic planning committee. So a lot of it is about meeting with constituencies, meeting with the town manager, meeting with all of the principals, meeting with stakeholders, lots of things that I have already done, and then, making my plan for what my plan is for the future of
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Professional practice? Questions on student learning goal?
Right, I wonder if you could just say a little more about progress monitoring. I take it it's both, right? It's partly through something like Dibbles, and it's also through walkthroughs?
Yeah, so mostly when we refer to it here in the plan, if you saw progress monitoring, that would be our work with the Hill for Literacy, with our data meetings, and then our monitoring our students' progress based on their individual goal. But we also are monitoring progress based on walkthroughs. But really, when you saw the plan up there and you saw it in the PD, that would be in relationship to DIBELS, progress monitoring.
I guess I'm just curious if you're comfortable saying a little bit about what you learned from that. Whatever level you feel comfortable talking about. Do you feel good about what's happening?
I feel great about what's happening.
Do you want to tell us some of the good stuff?
Well, I feel like that we're in the process that we're training all of our schools, that we have opportunities for everybody to be participating in the Hill for Literacy model this year. We have our first grade teachers that are participating in a Science of Reading course. Our special education teachers are participating in a Science of Reading course as well this year. We are providing time so the first time that we had some work, we all came together at the Atkinson School where they had some opportunities to look at their student data, to look at their focus for each student, and then meet and plan. And it was wonderful to bring all of the teachers together from all of the schools, but they also talked about the fact that what the challenge was is that after they went through that initial phase of looking at the data and making groupings for their students, they wanted to be able to plan with their materials and to be able to plan with special education, which we're still working out how that works because we have lots of PD that we need to provide, and that's really our only time. So the second time we moved it back to the buildings where they had some online time together with everybody, and then they had that opportunity. But the teachers are using their win blocks appropriately. That's a time when they're able to provide that small group instruction for students. Our teachers are using the tool, and we have everybody using the same tool, and they are being coached. We have both Martha Jankaitis, who is our assistant principal at the Atkinson School, who is working alongside Jacqueline Taylor, who is our curriculum director.
And the second round of DIBELS will be in
February.
So we would, ideally, I know we will, of course, because you're amazing, we'll see some good numbers there about how kids are doing better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being hopeful. I'm in a hopeful spirit.
The teachers like work, I assume they do. That's really positive, working not just with their own peers, but the colleagues and other schools.
They loved working with colleagues from other schools. It's sort of like that catch-22 where they loved it, but they also wanted to have that ability to work very specifically with their own materials and within their building.
Yeah.
But at least at the elementary level, it's the same materials, right? They're all using the same.
They are, but I think, it's kind of like if you're all going to one, you have to they wanted to be able to be back in their building, to be able to start planning for that small group instruction with the things that they have.
Thank you. Any questions on the finance and budgeting goal? I have one quick comment. We're going to get the next one, but I have found the budget updates very helpful, and I'm very happy that we've continued to do that. Those have continued, and that they're
And I
they're
would
great.
say about these goals in lots of ways too. I mean, obviously these budget updates are here, and this is one of my goals, but the person doing that work is Gail, right? And the same thing for curriculum instruction. So the person that's leading professional development is Kristen, right? So these are my goals as the superintendent in terms of I think of that big umbrella, but I want to make sure that you understand that these people are I appreciate that, but that's Gail's work, and I appreciate the progress monitoring, but that's Kristen's work, right? I'm just being bossy. It does take a village.
We have a good team.
Yeah,
It
we have
takes
a
a
great
capable.
team.
It
Yeah.
takes a capable leader to
And what I will
lead
say-
capable
Empower
leaders.
other
Yeah.
people to do their
And
work.
what I will say that isn't here is that we meet every Thursday as a central office team. So every Thursday at 1 o'clock, Gail Dowd, Lynn O'Neill, Kristen Ando, myself, Mike Grant, who's Director of Technology, Greg Landry, who's Director of Operation and Personnel, and Tracy Michaela, who is our Assistant Budget Director. We meet every Monday at 1 o'clock. We have a rolling agenda. It's our opportunity to share with, what's happening in each of our areas. We problem solve together. We, if there's a need, we might pitch that to Gail, why we need that, with evidence. So I feel comfortable saying, finance and operations or, professional development, because that's an opportunity that Kristen reports out the work that they're doing, and we ask questions and clarifying. It's something that I think could easily fall by the wayside because you get busy, but it is probably like the glue in many ways, that's holding everything together.
Lastly, any questions on the strategic planning goal? I'm excited for the work that you're doing. I've been asking for an update to the strategic plan for a while, and I'm very happy you are doing it.
Yeah, we are too.
I think it's a great thing.
This is the future glue. Everything else is, hugely important, right? Like that's running the schoolhouse now and doing it, but this strategic goal, like this is where we're gonna go in the future and how we're gonna
And
get
it gives
there.
us, if lots of people participate and they do the survey or they come, it lets us know what the district wants, right? And it really helps us. There are things that we know as educators, based on our profession, that we know is right for kids, but then we also have to think about, you have to make choices. And if it comes down between, a world language program, student athletics, I'm not saying that it's gonna come between those two, but it is really helpful to hear from the community, what are your priorities, and that will help us in our budgeting as we move forward, because you have the voice of the people.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to budget status update.
Gail's gonna talk now.
Ms. Dowd, thank you for the amazing work you've been doing, keeping us in budget. In my quick glance, I like that the number is below 69.2. I'm a very happy guy as long as you keep that number below there. Whatever else happens,
That's all I have.
That's all you have. Like, just from my point of view, as long as you did that, I don't care. No, that makes me happy. But explain how we continue to be under 69.2,
So
please.
I will give, thank you very much. I will give a quick update. So we continue to meet, as Pam mentioned, with the town manager and the finance folks over at Town Hall. So we did meet with them on December 10th. You'll see I added a couple of dates to the memo because I know there was some confusion about when does this happen. So I just wanted folks to know that we pull the data as of a certain date. We meet with the town manager. We then present it to school committee. After this memo then gets sent to the finance committee and the select board so that we have all avenues covered. Based upon the feedback that I've received from the budget liaisons, I have added an additional table to the presentation. So you'll see right underneath the top summary, I've added the additional expense breakdown. And this was taking a look at, oftentimes people ask what are sort of the most at-risk areas, and how I've looked at it working with folks internally is we've really looked at the transportation and out-of-district tuitions, because those are really the most fluid items. They change daily. We're constantly, I think Lynn and I we're a path between each other's offices because we're constantly speaking, which is great. As part of this process, I do continue to meet with all of the building-based principals on a rotating monthly basis. So I meet with all the elementary principals. I met with the middle school principal today. I meet with the high school principal. The 1 o'clock meetings that Pam mentioned are instrumental to me because that's where I really get to hear what's going on, make sure I understand it, ask the next leading question. So that's how, if you ask how we're staying on track, this is exactly how we're doing it, because we're having the difficult conversations. What can we do? How can we do it? And how do we fund it? So hopefully this additional table helps provide a little bit more clarity as to, I'm looking for the gold star. I didn't get it this time.
No,
I'm a little upset.
you haven't gotten a chance to award it yet.
I'm collecting the gold stars. So this shows you, and it tells you basically within general education, that's where the general ed, transportation, and the homeless falls. And then within special education, you have your in-district transportation, out-of-district transportation, and out-of-district tuition. We do break out the two pieces of transportation because they are so different. Your in-district transportation, for the most part, you know it at the beginning of the year. We set the routes. The out-of-district changes daily. I feel sometimes it changes daily. And the homeless transportation also changes daily. So hopefully this gives a little bit more clarity as to where we are within the operating budget.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but this is exactly what I asked for, so I really appreciate it. It's
Not
it's-
bad.
it's
I
It
interpreted
makes me
it.
so happy. It's beautiful. I may be moved to tears. No, seriously, I do appreciate it. It's
So
great.
what I also did is added a little bit of explanation on the next page, just to talk a little bit about what makes up each of the accounts, sort of what some of the risks are and how we're handling it. So homeless, we talk about that we have a purchase order open for everything we know. Within the projection that we've shown, we have included some additional funding because, again, it does change every day, so it wouldn't be wise for me to come here and say this is known fact certain because it does change. We talked about within special education, we were able to reduce the number of in-district buses that we're running this year. We do continue to monitor it to make sure we don't need to add any other buses or vans or anything else. And we also had talked about that we are utilizing those savings to help bring in some consultants to work with us throughout the broader spectrum of special education, keeping it within the special education budget, but just redeploying the assets that we had. So that's the conversations Lynn and I have multiple times a day, is how to effectively use the money to the best of our ability. The out-of-district transportation, we talked about, that is through SEAM. So they negotiate the contract. We're part of that contract. We review the invoices monthly. We spend a lot of time making sure the rates, the kiddos, everything is correct, and we update the projection. Because the bus rates could change daily depending on the number of kids on the bus. In out-of-district tuition, we spend a lot of time going through the students, the placements, the known changes. We have, for lack of a better term, to the accountant, a watch list of students that as we're going through, we put placeholders in there because we're not sure yet what may or may not happen. The projection summary is pretty consistent. We're doing really well. We're monitoring all of our items. We, continuing the payroll review to make sure we've captured everything. We're thinking through everything. I continue to add the tables that we had talked about last time to show the sources and uses. So we do have the out-of-district summary. What I did add this time, just to make it a little bit easier for everybody to follow, is a little bit of a reconciliation at the bottom to show you where the original budget started and where we are now budget-wise, because we have had some budget transfers. So I did want to be transparent and let folks know, to the extent we've transferred funds out of there, just so you have a running total. I will be doing the same thing on transportation, because as we talked about some of the savings, we're working through moving some of that funds up to contract services, so I will provide a similar reconciliation for transportation. The one thing we did want to mention is, as part of the circuit breaker process, they do have an audit, so our district was selected for
Lucky.
an audit this year, which
Lucky.
was, it's great. It's a learning.
It's a good learning
It's
experience.
an incredible learning experience. I got to explain to people that auditors aren't bad people. We're actually really nice. We just have a job to do. So they have come through, they've gone through, they tick and tie every single number, question everything. It was a really great process for the staff within both Lynn's department, within the finance department. We're waiting for the final results. It's not untypical that there'll be findings, that they'll come back and they'll make an adjustment to your claim. What happens when they do that is they'll reduce your future payments. So if they determine that too much was put forth on the claim, they will adjust your future payment. So we'll come back. We should have the information for the next update to let folks know what they found, how we're addressing it, and how we're moving forward. But I always consider it a great process, because you get to really talk to the people who, this is what they do. So we do not have any budget transfers, and we have not received any new grants since the last month. That is
Thank you.
my update in a nutshell.
Love it. My one comment is I deeply appreciate the additional expense breakdown on the first page. I'm I want to, from my perspective, I think the committee will agree with me that this is not meant to cast any blame on these vulnerable populations for causing any budgetary problems, but they, in the terms of budget, they are the most fluid. We have to pay extra attention to make sure that we know where we are. And these are necessary services that we want to continue, that we have to continue to maintain and provide for them. And it's important that we know how much money we have, so we're not surprised by anything.
Correct.
But it's not to say that those expenses are things that we don't want to do or we're blaming budget problems on. They're just ones that can change a lot.
Correct. I always look at it like a heat map. Where
Yes.
where are the areas where things can change that may not be completely within your control that we need to make sure we keep our eyes on throughout the year.
So, any other questions, concerns, comments for Ms.
Yes,
Dowd?
so I'm the one who requested that, so I'm really happy to thank you and appreciative that you did that. That's great, and that's exactly what my intent was, not just to look at what's the biggest risks. In fact, that's the way I put it, so that's great, it's perfect. The only question I had, the audit you were just discussing is specifically circuit breaker audit?
It is specifically the circuit breaker.
It's a
I've
mouthful.
also been out every night
Yeah.
this week.
It's a mouthful.
Many night meetings. It is specific to circuit breaker. So since we file a claim, I forget it's every X number of years that they.
They
change.
audit a certain number of districts every year. And so this happened to be North Andover's year that our
Okay.
number popped up. There can be different factors around that. And potentially we sort of rose to the top because of all of the new personnel and our experience together with the claim. They monitor who goes to their trainings. We all did go to the training. But you know, they are going to do a certain number of districts every year. North Andover just happened to be one of them.
That's fine. Sounds like actually,
And
in some ways, was
similar,
helpful.
Our
Yeah.
grants get audited. They, depending on the size of your federal grants, there's a single audit that they'll come out. Our end of year report gets audited, then our grants will also be audited. So there's, poor Tracy was telling me today she has more audit requests because they're all happening now. So I always take it as a good thing because it's the checks and balances and great opportunity to learn.
And I just want to do a little shout out. Some of the suggestions that the auditors had for sort of tracking our information on spreadsheets, et cetera, in particular ways, we were already doing as a result of Gail's request and setting those spreadsheets up at the beginning of the school year. So it was really nice to be able to say to them, we're already doing it that way, so it'll be great this year.
Because there's an audit of last year's circuit breaker
Yes.
claim.
So whenever
Yeah.
when they're done, will you present their results to us? Okay.
Yes, we will.
Thanks. Perfect.
Thank you.
That's it.
Oh, I have a couple questions.
Sure.
So on the page of additional expenses, this is just my sort of looking at the numbers and not understanding the homeless transportation parentheses 2, the budget 351,000. As of December 5th, we've spent 466,000, and the total for the year is going to be 339. I'm missing something. How can the total for the year be less than we've already spent?
Oh, that because I copied a number above that I shouldn't have because it's the same number. That was a typographical error on my part. I will correct that and send a revised.
All right. And
That's
then
what we would try, because we have to slice and dice the data different ways to prevent
It
the
happens to
schedule.
all
So
of
that
us.
was a copy paste, so I apologize for that one.
So, in the same place, the general education transportation in-district, 1.5 million, and the special ed, 1.7. There's probably a good reason for it, but why is it more expensive per student?
For
Not out of district, in-district special education
the
transportation.
specialized transportation based upon the needs of the students. So there might be monitors, there might be specialized vehicles that we're utilizing, so the cost
So they can't
structure is
ride in the
different.
general bus.
Correct.
Some can, presumably. Some,
If it's on there.
just because you're on an ed plan doesn't mean you can't ride in the regular bus.
Correct. That's part of the team discussion, whether or not you can ride on a school bus, being transported to school like a non-disabled peer, or do you need specialized transportation with some kind of modification?
Right. And then the other thing I noticed is that these numbers are presumably are within the 69 million.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go to the next, this is not a criticism, I'm just trying to figure it all out. The actual amount spent is considerably higher because it comes from
Different funding sources.
different funding
Correct.
sources,
Yep.
which we've talked to you about at some point,
Yep.
trying to, there's the budget that we're accountable to the town for, and then there's the total amount we spent.
Yep, and that's what the second
Yeah,
set of
exactly.
tables
No,
is
no.
to bridge between
right.
general fund and all funding sources. So that was addressed by adding these
Okay,
tables.
good. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent and amazing team. Ms. Cormier, I'm going to put you on the spot because I forget who was with you today. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
You and Mr. Brown, can you tell us about your community chat today?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mr. Brown and I had the opportunity to do a community chat at the high school, and I have to say it is the most people that have been at any community chat that I have done in the past year and a half. The participation was amazing. We had a fantastic conversation. There was a few themes. I'll hit on a couple, and Dave, we can just kind of go back and forth on
Sure.
some of the themes. I think one of the biggest ones was, I think all but one of the students came from the same activities. We had the choir and the band. They showed up and had things to say and were invested in what was happening at the school, and it was amazing. And I asked the question if there was one of them in the room that kind of led the charge to come, and they're like, nope, they all came independently. They were surprised to walk into the room and see
Yeah,
each
to
other.
see each other. That was pretty,
That was
interesting.
great. But it was one of a common theme there was just how important after school activities were to them, not only from just the social and the engagement, but that what it means for their college acceptance and their kind of portfolio of themselves to be able to move forward and apply for colleges. And that it was really impactful listening to them and the things that they were looking for in those types of activities, and how it helped them. They also brought up around just kind of transparency, how I'm going to kind of summarize, but the transparency of funding around different after-school clubs, athletics, to choir, to band. There was definitely a feeling of not having, and we talked about what would equal funding be, but what does that mean in terms of uniforms, equipment, compared to other clubs and athletics? So I think it really kind of comes down to understanding kind of what is spent and transparency around those types of funding. So we talked a little bit about the different sources of the funding and how some of that is challenging, but their needs remain the same of needing to have, they need to have these clubs and activities for the variety of reasons. That's great for them and for them to feel that they're valued with the funding. Their engagement was impressive.
Yep.
And then they just talked about too, one of the things, quite a few different groups talked about kind of just the valuable trips outside of North Andover and what that did for them. And no matter where it went, just the exposure that these students expressed and that it gave to them to get out of our community and to go. Some of they talked about some specific trips, but just in general, how that added to their learning and what to them, what it could bring. So that was impactful. And then the other thing is we asked a little bit around transportation. What do you think it would mean if there was ways to not having transportation home after school? Did that stop participation? And it was a resounding yes.
Well, but specifically the lack of buses after
school.
Not
Yes.
not that the you know what I mean. In other words, what we used to call late buses,
Late
and
buses,
athletic or activity buses.
Yep.
Whether we asked them their opinion of whether they thought that impacted participation. They said it did.
Yep. So they knew students that couldn't or themselves not always being able to participate in things because not being able to get home afterwards.
So
Those
few things to add. So there were 13 different kids that came, which was outstanding. I will say that 3 years ago we did have more than that when we had some rough times, but that was for recent times a very good turnout, really good turnout. They were all engaged. We talked about a lot of different things. A few things that Ms. Cormier didn't mention that I caught. One, there was some talk or discussion around graduation requirements. That that they were. I think the word they used was, we're intrigued by some of what's going on here, and we're wondering. But they all did seem to have, at least a large part of this group had college on the mind, right? They were concerned about implications for that. But it was a good discussion. I'm going to give them credit, a lot of credit. So when we talked about budget issues, what was really cool was that several of them said, we don't understand how the budget process works. So some of our comments are just kind of from our perspective. And I thought that was really enlightening, right? And impressive that they would say, hey, I'm not knowledgeable, but this is my perception. That was pretty impressive for high school students to come up with that. So there, a lot of what they said were perceptions, right? We have this perception of unfairness, but several of them said, I'm not really sure that's true. Yep. So we had a healthy discussion about that. And so we were talking about, well, how do you measure that? Is it amount spent per student, per activity? It's a difficult thing to kind of really quantify. Different, acknowledge that different support organizations exist for different things, right? And they can kind of supplement what we're able to provide. It was interesting to hear about the trips that at least these students told us, that not all of them were aware that financial help was available to go on some of the trips. Even, may have heard it after the fact,
and
right?
that there's
when they
limits,
decided not to go and then discovered, oh man, they could have applied for it.
And that they're told that there's limits to the amount of financial aid by the number of students, so that they're aware of that, so might not ask because they know of those limits.
One of the things that came up towards the end, they told us that I think I heard this right, more students have directed study than they would like.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
More students, sorry?
So more students have directed study periods. I'm not saying this the right way.
There's too many directed studies.
There's too many, yes, that's the way, there are too many.
They would prefer more electives and less directive studies.
Yes.
Right.
Study hall.
Study hall.
Study hall.
They don't like study hall.
They do not.
Not as
Yeah,
many as
And
they
they'd rather
have.
have more time in class.
Yes, that's what these kids were saying.
Does that either mean they're really cool or that we're not giving enough homework?
Both.
Well, I think you have to understand, right, the students that are likely to come
I'm
to some.
just looking at the possibilities.
No, I think the students that were motivated to come to something like this
they want.
were the students that are, they're engaged, right? They're the ones that want learning, right? I
I would agree. These were engaged students. It
Yeah.
was these were the students who are taking control, have an opinion, taking control, took the opportunity, and expressed themselves and what they were looking for. It was great.
It's certainly nice that they obviously enjoy their classes.
Sounds like we have, do you want to?
Sorry, if I can add about the
Yeah.
directed study thing, I know me, I don't have a directed study this year, and I really like one just because of my workload, but I feel like I can't just because of regarding the graduation requirements, because I think a lot of people either wanting those electives more just because they want more exposure to certain art classes or certain music classes, but they feel like they are stuck in a directed study. And then there's the alternate where I need that gym class, so I can't have a directed study right now. I need to be getting my requirements in. Even my sister, her senior year, she wasn't allowed to take physics because she had to fill her gym requirement first, and that was a big disappointment for her. And it's hard for a lot of students to go through this just because scheduling doesn't work out in everyone's favor. This has happened to me multiple times where maybe I don't get the elective I want or can't fill a certain thing until a whole year later. So I think that's another part of not wanting as much of the directed studies, is just getting all your requirements in so that you can take the classes you want by junior and senior year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great feedback. Yeah, that's.
And then one other there was a variety of more operational things that came up. We kind of preferenced, Mr. Brown did a great lead. It's just kind of informally with the students. It was a chance for them to complain or gripe? What are the things they
Right.
liked or didn't like, right? To kind of get the conversation going. But one thing that was interesting around, because we had many of the students most from choir and band and drama, involved in drama as well, just some comments around some restrictions that they feel that are coming around with the play, with Grease. The students are concerned
yes.
about some restrictions that are being put on things that they can say
Editorial.
in the play. And so they were curious if that was something where that was coming from. So we encouraged them to kind of reach out and work their system, and the people there to kind of find out to get clarity on what are some of those restrictions and why they're there.
Yep. Sort of suggesting them that take it up the proper channels, right? Advocate.
Love that.
Yeah.
It was these were.
I'm feeling you might be the proper channel.
I am not the proper channel. Ms. Holman is the proper channel. That's
No,
why I
it's not
love
But even
that.
before that, so what we said to them is if you feel there's editorial control here that shouldn't be, or isn't necessary, first stop is the
Respectfully
director
ask the question.
of the play, and then if and then maybe escalate up to your building principal, but start at the right place. And they were receptive to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These students, these kids came with notes.
Great.
These students, every single one of them, well, maybe 10 out of the 13 had they were on their phone, but notes on their phones about the things that were important to them and they wanted to bring to talk.
Yeah, that was their notes.
It was their notes. Yeah, it was all on their
just
phones.
notes.
Kind of funny.
That
But
was
I would
fine.
just, in terms of moving forward, doing that was, I think, something we should absolutely continue to do. Periodically, we should be doing community chats with the students as long as they continue to show up. It was, in recent history, the most people we've had in the room.
Right, and definitely engaged.
Yes.
They were great.
Thank you so much for organizing and doing that. Second part of community chats is we want to select a date or two for the budget season. So in our packet, we have the first page, page 1, are the dates between our first budget presentation on the 8th and the second budget presentation the 15th. We are all available at some point during that week to do it. We have to choose one.
Well, it looks like there are 3 times that there are only 2 people. That makes it sort of easy. Maybe
Right, we
start with
only
those
want
and then
2.
see, like David and me on the 9th.
I was actually leaning towards having this one. I know we had a variety of times available, but I was leaning towards either the Saturday or the Monday evening one. Since there's only one, I thought
What do you mean by leaning towards?
my suggestion would either be do the 10th or Monday the 12th.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you're suggesting we're not going to do all of these?
No, we need to choose one of them.
I'm sorry?
We're going to choose one.
Just one of these?
One of each page, or
One from this section, and then, because we're going to do one community chat between the first and second budget meeting, and we'll do another community chat between the second and third,
Oh,
which
So
is
one-
on the next page.
Right, so one for each page.
And in
Yeah.
terms of like which days or times, like who else are we trying to get? Because we're trying to get to different people. So that's
Yeah.
all about like the time, trying to find different people's schedules. 'Cause I think we've done the majority of them
Usually they're on Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings, right?
So I was thinking if, for this one, I put the smiley face again on Monday, the 12th, as the first one. It's an evening during the week. I thought that could be a good choice. I think once we go further, maybe a Saturday or an earlier in the day one, as in the second group between the 15th and the 30th, was my initial strategy.
so who are we trying to, these are not students?
No.
Nope.
or-
Adults, voters,
So
people who
where,
have questions.
where are these going to be held? Are these like senior center or library?
Or here,
Or to be TBD?
to be determined.
How many, based on past experience, how many people do you think are going to show up at one of these?
As little as 1, as many as 10.
Yeah, but as adults, we haven't had that mean
Yeah.
So,
In my time here, I've had one that had 15 or 20 people. I've had one where me and another member sat there and had a lovely conversation for an hour and a half.
Yeah, with one person, right? Yeah.
Or none.
I guess what I'm getting at is if it's that small, do you maybe want to do 2 instead of 1 of each of these, or do you think that's too much?
I want to do one in this week and then one. We're going to, for these selection of dates on page 1, I want to choose one of them.
Okay.
I do think it's smart to do one weeknight, one weekend.
Yeah,
Just to try
yeah.
to
Okay.
Mix
cover
it
it.
up.
Gives people, some people have, they're busy on weekends with kids'
Mm-hmm.
activities. And
Well, just speaking for myself, the evening ones are all 6 to 7:30. It's kind of awkward.
Yep.
For me, since I don't cook my own dinner usually.
That is fine.
I wonder, is that the best time, or would you get more people if you came later or less? I mean,
we
We can't control for all the things.
I mean, it's an empirical question. I would have thought it'd be tough to get a lot of people right through the dinner hour.
It's so flexible now.
It's very flexible.
I think
I'm
that-
sorry?
I think that
Sometimes
dinner.
our dinner hour is until 8 o'clock, so it's fine. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm just asking
Yeah,
the
I think
question.
it's.
Mine isn't as flexible because
Mm.
I don't make the decision. I don't have infinite choices.
So do we want to do a Saturday, this one of the sessions on Saturday the 10th and one on the, and then Monday the 12th?
But just back to back, so 2 on the first page or
Or-
something?
I
Yeah, that's
think-
fine, yeah.
Is
let's
that
do
what you were suggesting there, Mr. Brown, or?
that was him.
Oh.
I think
Do we
we're
think we'll-
suggesting an evening one this time. and then a
let's do an
Saturday
evening one this
next
time.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay, so let's do, if Ms. Cormier, because it's you that will be doing it. Are you good with Monday the 12th?
Yes, that was, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do that one for the first round. And we're going to, now for the second round, which is the second and third page, we're going to choose one additional date. And we're going to not, try and have it not be Ms. Cormier and Ms. Sams, but some combination of the three of us.
But you want to do it on a weekend.
And we want to do it a weekend, so we could do that.
That's
which is
me and
fine.
you.
Well, no, we could do Saturday the 17th. We could do Mr. Brown.
Oh,
and
there's
Mr.
another,
Moskowitz.
there's
Yep.
another page. I
Yep.
didn't
Oh,
realize
there's
there was
a
another
third
I didn't
page.
realize we were double-sided.
Yep, we can do the
Oh.
17th, Mr. Brown and Mr. Moskowitz.
Okay.
Do you two prefer to do the 11 a.m. or the 1 p.m.?
Slight preference.
I have a
What do
minor preference for 1 p.m.
Me too.
Okay, great.
Well, that's easy.
So
All
se-
right.
Oh,
So the
that is-
17th, right? The two of
Yeah,
us?
it's on the back, yeah.
Page
Yeah, I
2.
got it. Okay.
You're not on page 2. Yeah, yeah, you are.
Really? Okay.
The 17th, 1 to 2:30.
Okay. This is a me issue.
Okay. Oh, that's.
It's it's me again.
It's you again. I misread the line.
I'm like, that's maybe it's not. I'm like, I
It's
took
not
my
you.
glasses off. I'm like, I know I need
That's-
new ones.
Okay, I withdraw. That's not you.
So you can't do the 18th?
No.
17th?
So, Mr. Brown, instead, why don't you and I do?
Oh, well, maybe we should check with Ed. He didn't say yes to the 17th.
Well, he-
Should
Yeah.
we do it?
To the 17th? I did say yes.
No, you
No,
did
you
not.
didn't.
No, that's Kelly.
Oh,
that
I'm
was,
sorry.
That was my bad reading of the
It's
chart.
hard to go across the line. I
Oh.
think we're challenged on the lines here. a
Do you
lot.
happen to know if you're available?
It's Martin Luther King weekend.
I'm sorry. No,
No.
which time are we talking
On the
about?
17th, Saturday the 17th.
Oh, it's a long.
Oh,
week.
I didn't say yeah. Would I be willing to come at 1 o'clock on the 17th? Yes, I would.
It's Martin Luther King weekend. Does that matter to
I'd
you?
still be willing to.
Okay.
So he could do it.
Okay, so we'll do Mr. Moskowitz and Mr. Brown on the 17th at 1 p.m.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have said yes. I said yes, not realizing I hadn't said it before. But yes, that'll be fine.
Okay. Perfecto.
What do you think about location?
Um,
I mean, most likely to get people on 1 o'clock on a Saturday.
I think here is fine. We start here. If it's a particularly busy time, we can, after the 8th.
Do you think the library would get more people?
The library might get more.
You
Well,
want?
yeah,
We'll have to
which-
check with Michelle to see if she can do the, Michelle,
I
please
just-
check to see if you can do the library conference room on the morning of the 17th.
Yeah, we have done them there before. So
Yeah, that's
often
fine.
we can get it, but yeah, who knows? if that-
And then I will do, and I'll do it solo. I will do Monday, the 26th, from 6 to 7. I will do that one by
There's-
myself.
Why by yourself? There's 40
Because
people
that means
who
we
said
all,
yes.
but that means we will all have done one. So if someone else would like to volunteer for a second one, that'd be fantastic. If not, we all have equally served in this capacity this time around. If you would like to come join me, you are welcome to sit by my side. But I do not want to ask anyone to do more than than anyone else is. I think if we have 3 opportunities for everyone, that's quite nice. So I will get that information to Michelle, and we will get those officially scheduled. Alrighty. Rest of my chair update. On budget process, we are in the middle of the process. Just to review, we've been trying to do things as transparently as possible and as timely as possible. Thank you to the administration for having that new version of a budget process for us today, an earlier understanding of what you'll be bringing to us on the 8th for our official budget presentation and your recommendation. The 8th will be the recommended budget. The 15th we'll have a public hearing. The 29th we will vote. Please come to those meetings. Right now, I'm anticipating the 8th being here. Superintendent Lathrop? Should
My
we-
anticipation, you see what the room looks like, so I don't know if we,
Well-
should expect a larger crowd. We could move.
I think, what do you think?
It's hard to tell. I mean,
I
do
don't
we
know.
move and just, do we try it for the senior center just for
I
a
was gonna
little
say,
bit more
can we,
room?
yeah,
I'm
why
sure
don't we
we'll
do
look
the
at
senior
the senior
center?
Yeah, just the senior center. That way we've got it and we don't have to move, like, 'cause I know it's challenging for people when we move.
And then-
January 8th.
Yeah, and tentatively for the 15th. And then if we feel like after I think,
We'll get a better sense.
yeah, we
Yeah.
can always come back here.
Yep.
But of course, we will announce that with, where we will be, in advance. And then again, town meeting is,
May 12th.
and we will be voting on a number of things, including an operating budget, a capital improvement plan budget, which we'll hear more about on the 8th, as well as, and that does include money for the new Kittredge building in conjunction with the MSBA, which they reimburse us a good amount for, but that will require a 2/3 vote of those present at the meeting to get the debt issued, basically the loan. Alrighty. Negotiations update. Get your childcare already for the town meeting. Negotiations update. We had an executive session on, what day was that? Tuesday?
Correct.
Yes.
On Tuesday. I just mentioning it to the public because like usually we do it beforehand and we open in public and then come back, but because it was just an executive session, we didn't do that. We met as a group to specifically meet with our town council to get advice on how to conduct negotiations well and make sure we are prepared because we were doing a number of negotiations this year. We want to make sure we all understand what that means from the school committee standpoint and our obligations to do those well and effectively and fairly. So thank you, Ms. Lathrop, for helping us set that up. I'm excited that you opened up the strategic planning survey again. Appreciate that. I did it myself today, so it doesn't take very long. I was able to do it in 10 minutes, less, so thank you. Everyone else should do it as well. And then lastly, I made a mistake. I got distracted last weekend after our last meeting, and I never did the meeting recap. Oh, so I apologize for
It
that.
happens sometimes.
It happens. So when I do this one, which I will do, it will go out before the winter break. I will include the things that should have been in the original one that from the 4th, as well as the meeting recap for this one. I apologize for that. I got distracted, and then I realized we have a meeting tonight. So I will try and do better. And that is the conclusion of my chair update. Mr. Brown, Kittredge School.
Yes, well, there's not much to say
Nothing
because
to
we
say.
haven't
We
met.
wait.
But I will remind everybody, in case they fast forward to this part of the meeting when they watch it, that we will no longer need a debt exclusion, thanks to good, sound fiscal management on the part of our town. We are going to, as you mentioned a minute ago, going to need to vote to approve the bond in order to build the school. And, of course, the state is still contributing a pretty good share. So our schematic design was submitted in December to the Massachusetts SBA at their December meeting. We expect approval. It was submitted. We expect approval at their February meeting. So I have been frantically looking at my calendar to see when our next KSBC meeting is. I can't find it. It may not be scheduled yet. I guess it hasn't been scheduled yet. I think the intent is to meet in January, but I don't think we have a date yet.
Okay.
I'm going to guess it's probably not before our next meeting.
Probably not.
I could be wrong, though.
Yeah,
Thank
I-
you so much, and for all that hard work of the committee, and the chair of that committee, and for getting that big old proposal in on time. We're excited for MSBA to vote yes for us. Old business. We have an overnight field trip request for the MASC Student Council Conference. Students go every year. It's down on the Cape, which is both wonderful, and I don't know. It's not. It's they always do this one down at that hotel. I feel like that hotel scares me. But I would entertain a motion.
I think this is first read.
This is old business.
This is old business.
Sorry.
Oh, this is
Yep.
the mask, yeah.
Forgive me.
It's all good.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I will move that we approve the overnight field trip request for our students to attend the MASC Student Council Conference.
Thank you.
Seconded?
Thank you, Mrs. Cormier. Reminder, our students, not only do they go, but they often end up in leadership positions at these and have done great things and are like really amazing participants in this conference. Any other discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Moskovich?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Cormier?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Have fun. Moving on to the NAHS competency determination. We had the presentation last time from Ms. Kingston and Ms.
Miss Holman.
Ms. Holman.
I'm now doing it.
It's all right.
Principal Holman, in the absence now of the graduation or competency determination of the MCAS, school districts have to have their own. They are due by the end of this calendar year on the 31st, so we really need to vote on this today. So I hope we approve it, but we had our first read last time, and this is our second read. Anything else we need to know?
I didn't hear from anybody. I didn't get any questions pertaining.
Alrighty.
So I will move that we adopt the NAHS competency determination as presented on December 4th and included here.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Seconded?
Thank you, Ms. Cormier. Any other discussion? I appreciate both the general overview that the high school administration provide for us and making sure that they account for all the other what-if situations that could arise. Deeply appreciate that thoughtful planning. Anything else?
No.
Mr. Moskovich?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Cormier?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Passes 4-0. Great. Public comment?
Do okay, is this the policy? Are there two different things?
Do we have to vote on something different?
No, I think we're good. I
We're
think
good?
this replaces that, yes.
Yes, we
Yep.
only had to do that.
Yep, no, you're good.
Okay. If we need to vote, because we can now submit this to who we need to submit it for.
Yep.
If we need to then update the handbook accordingly or whatever, we can
Yep.
do that. That doesn't necessarily have to happen for this to happen.
Yeah.
Right, so we did just vote to approve both the determination and the policy, right? Because that's what this says.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was my intent anyway.
Great, thank you.
All right, great.
Member comments?
Well, I have one. This is a little late because something must have happened at the committee meeting after the robotics competitions. But it was very neat and very different than what I expected. I
Did they
thought
throw
there
things
would-
at you?
I'm sorry?
Did the robots launch projectiles at you?
Well, it's interesting that you should say that, because I had expected a wide range of robotics, including some who could have done that. But
And?
that isn't what was there.
What was there?
Well, my wife and I were quite surprised. They all looked about the same. And so our initial reaction was to be disappointed. Not because nobody was throwing stuff at us, but because I expected, more variety. And I didn't, we sort of walked around and asked people about, the kids about it. And then we went into the auditorium. Well, that's where all the excitement is.
Oh, yeah.
The auditorium has 3 little battlegrounds on the stage. And so what had happened was, I assume, that all the participants got specs
They do.
and what you had to be able to do. And then, of course, I say, of course, I hadn't anticipated. I thought the competition was who could design, who can design the robot that is best at the competition.
Yes.
Well, and I was just blown away because, my electronics is limited to, having wired a few model railroads from time to time. But my God, so first of all, they have to have wheels, and they have to move, and you have to control them, and you have to control them remotely. Now, we're way out of my electronic ability to have, so that you've got a dial, and you figured out how to make the motor, how to turn the wheels and include the speed, and then the robots compete with each other. And my favorite one was one team, and I don't know how they pulled this off, but there's a whole bunch of balls, different colors. Robots have to be able to lift them, identify colors, put them in the right place, and if you're really good at it, get them out of your opponents even after they think they've got them home. But you get 2 robots. And this one team, I honestly don't remember whether they're ours or not, they had one of their robots that was tying up both of the other team's robots. And so their second robot was just going around harvesting the balls, picking them out of where they were supposed to go and in. But it's really cool. I mean, the technological ability of the students is way beyond what I thought was necessary. It's very impressive.
It's really cool. There are things that they have to have in the robots, and
Yes.
things they're not allowed to have in the robots.
Yes,
And every year the game changes.
of course.
Well, the other important thing, what you failed to mention, because it probably wasn't obvious, but those teams, they don't know each other, right? So it's 2 different teams. The 2 robots, the red versus the blue, the 2 reds are from 2 different schools, had met each other about 60 seconds before they compete. Maybe
I wasn't
maybe a few
aware
minutes
of
before.
that.
Yes, so they have to work together. So that's another constraint, or another challenge.
There's a nomination process, so I don't know
Yeah.
what time you got into the gym, but like they can accept the nomination, right? They go
Right.
up and
Oh, we
then
got
so
there
they're
about
working.
1:30.
Yeah.
So the initial matches earlier in the morning, they're paired randomly.
Yeah.
Then when they advance, then there's a draft
Yeah,
essentially.
that's, yeah.
Wow.
Where they try to pick each other who would be a good partner for them based on their observations from the morning. So that's why they
Really
have all
strategic.
these teams, because they need individual students to do different things. Like
So
some of the
each
students are
team-
scouts. Right? Some of the students are designers. Some of the students are operators. They have all different roles.
So each team has only 1 robot.
Correct.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, each team has only 1 robot, and that's the point, is that there's all this multiple dimensions going on here. It's
Oh
really
my God,
pretty
for
incredible.
sure, that's true.
And the other thing that, just as long as we talked about it, the other thing that's maybe not obvious to people is that there's 2 sections to each competition. There's an autonomous mode. So for the first 60 seconds, or I think maybe 30 seconds, but for some period of time, the robots are being programmed and working on their own. And then for the next 2 minutes, they're being driven by the students.
So is this like AI?
No,
You
they
have a
code it.
program that
They
tells
code
the
it.
robot
No,
what
no,
to
it's
do?
code.
they write the code.
They write the code.
They make the code.
The students do the programming.
Wow.
A few years ago, we brought the robotics team here to school committee, and they gave a very formal presentation about what it was really impressive,
really
and
cool.
we had some opportunities to go over it and see, you know, if that's something you're interested in, I certainly could arrange for you to go over to see Mr. Hearn and the team, and they'd be happy to explain more to you.
Oh, I would enjoy that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you would. It was
it's-
really impressive.
Thank you for the report. Ms. Cormier, anything
Yeah.
to add?
Just briefly, I just want to, with the community chat at the high school today, I just wanted commend those students for coming and talking to us. You know, the members of it was the choir, the band, the color guard, drama, like having them come in and coming to that table with their ideas and their thoughts was impactful. So just thank you to them. And then honestly, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you to
Happy
this
New Year.
team. Right, like I'm looking forward to what you continue to bring forward and do for our children over the next year. So thank you and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah,
Merry
Happy New
Christmas,
Year.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Happy Christmas.
I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I'm the motion guy.
You are. Go.
Mr. Chair, I would love to motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Seconded.
Thank you, Ms. Cormier. Mr. Moskovich.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Cormier.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned at 8:57.